What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Much as Wrench Said here. Tonight, we're doing a crazy thing. We're doing a three-way. We're going to see how this goes. I don't know. We'll find out.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us tonight. We got Ryan and Brad, good buddies from the old school. I'll let you guys kick it off. Who wants to go first?
The old school.
The old school.
OG. How old is the old school?
I don't
You talking
know.
like 1900s?
Well, we're all getting older compared to everybody else. So.
Nah, early 2000s.
All right, so you volunteered, so go first. Ryan, tell us about yourself and...
I mean, we don't have that much time. I'm just kidding. Well, my name's Ryan. I think we've established that.
You like fast cars and fast women.
Yeah, fast cars, fast women. That's about as far as I can go with that.
A lot of women.
Brad, nice to meet you. What do you got?
How you doing, Brad? I've known Kyle for too many years. We've always been car guys together. Always worked on projects and rebuilding the Camaro year after year. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, Brad's the guy that told all the stories about when we rebuilt the Camaro in 2012, and they got to hear about how you broke it too.
Yes, I did. I'm one of the only two, I believe,
Two people
that have driven the 69, and I have broken it both times I drove it.
She's loyal.
And the other guy broke it, right?
Yeah, the alignment guy. I forgot about the second time. I always think about we put the new TCI trans in.
Yep.
Took it around the block, and then the vacuum modulator line fell off, so we lost second and third. I was like, Brad broke the damn transmission.
First
And then I
drive.
forgot about the other time when you
Boiled the power steering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overheated the power steering.
We went out and thrashed on it, and Kyle had a couple beers, so I was designated driver. Went out and drove. He proceeded to ratchet the gear shifter down as I'm driving 65 miles an hour down. I think it was probably Jewett at that point, but driving down the road, and Kyle just slaps down a couple gears and is like, "Get on it, go!" So I beat on it, and she didn't like it. So.
And everything broke.
No, just the power steering.
Oh, okay.
But we pulled over, and am I the only one? Does anybody else have more fun? Maybe not more fun, but does anybody else have a really good time when somebody else drives your car?
No.
I don't know if it's...
No.
No? All right.
No.
Well, I
I
guess
don't
it's
even
just
like
me.
riding with other people.
Oh, man.
I'll ride with both of you guys,
Yeah.
but I don't trust a lot of
So
people.
call me crazy. I'm going to throw this out there. I love cars, but I don't really love driving.
I love driving.
Like, I like riding because there's too much traffic. Like, I like driving if it was, say, a controlled environment or it's a country road. There's nobody around. The freeway's okay. But everything else, you're just dodging dumbasses.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't like not being behind the wheel.
No.
Like there's a couple people in my life that I'm cool with. I don't ride with too many people, but it's probably 50-50 where I will not ride with the other person.
Oh, see, I just don't care. Like, hey, if it's our time, it's our time.
No. Like,
No?
that's like, oh, let me go wrestle this alligator if it's my time.
Well, anyway, we got a little off topic, but Brad, no. So every time Brad would drive, had this B&M ratchet shifter, I'd be in the passenger seat, and he'd be just cruising along. I'd be like, "Get it, downshift, throw it into first." Brad's like, "Jesus Christ." Yeah, maybe it wasn't completely your fault that it broke.
Yeah, good times.
Freaking Brad.
Yeah. Back to you, Ryan. Tell us about yourself.
I thought we already did that.
Well, I was just.
Oh, I'm I don't know. What would you call me? What would you describe me as? Like a
Amateur tattoo artist and a race car driver.
Exactly. I'm like Columbus's
I'm a
favorite garbage man.
race car.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Columbus's favorite dumpster.
Gotta be. I mean, I'm the prettiest.
He's the trash man.
I'm the prettiest trash man in the city. That's for sure.
No.
Would you disagree?
I bet you top 10. It's a big city.
Well, it is a big city.
Yeah.
But no, I own American Hauling. I think both you guys know that already.
I work on some of the trucks.
Yeah, you've worked on my trucks.
Chris, who you had on here previously, he fixed a bunch of your
Yeah,
trailers.
Chris fixes trailers for me. Just a little bit of everything from people that help me out.
Kyle worked for you.
Kyle worked for me. Yeah, I almost forgot.
Allegedly.
He didn't do much work. I almost forgot.
Mhm.
But
A lot
yeah,
of bitching. A lot of bitching.
Yeah, I get a lot of those reference calls, and I have to lie.
Or they say, "Is this Kyle?" You say no, and they say, "Oh, thank God."
No. They say, we understand that Kyle Muchmore was a previous employee of yours. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, was he a good employee? And I'm like, yes.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the. Hey, I've gotten most of the jobs I applied for so
Well,
far.
look where you are now.
I know.
So you're welcome.
I'm in a basement doing a podcast.
Oh.
Well,
But times are
There's
good.
worse
This isn't my
places
day
to
job.
be.
This isn't my day job yet. You know, I'm not an official YouTuber, as you call them yet.
do you have pants on?
Yeah.
You're not there yet.
I thought about. I know.
You haven't made it.
I know. Don't they say most? Well, maybe not nowadays with everything being PC, but back in the day, didn't a lot of news crews and whatnot on the stage? Didn't they do no pants? They
I don't
no
think
pants
so.
Pants? No.
I think that's something you made up.
Well, it
Why
sounds
wouldn't
pretty
you
good
wear
to me.
pants in like a newsroom?
Why not? You got.
I feel like
the
your
big,
legs would stick to like the leather chairs.
Well, you got the big counter in front of you. Why not? Why would you wear pants?
You wear shorts.
You know, back then it was free love.
Probably smelled.
I'm sure it smelled. It was the 70s.
All
Go
right.
back,
Old
back
timers
to
gonna be mad at
cars.
us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Back to
okay,
cars,
sorry.
guys.
Yeah, just a little off topic here. You can tell how good this is going already with 2 guests. We figured, what the hell, we'll give it a shot. But
Never again.
4 hours later.
yeah, I know. And I'd like a Joe Rogan podcast here 3.5 hours later, and everybody's high.
Are you high?
No.
Oh,
Got a gas leak or something?
that's what it
Maybe
is.
it's possible. I did put a heater in the garage this winter, so it could be leaking.
You did?
Yeah,
It too cold for you?
yeah,
Oh, you can't get it done.
yeah. It was cold.
This guy. Go ahead. You take this one. This is where you usually jump all over him. Uh-huh.
He doesn't have his
He
barn's
doesn't
too big
have
to heat.
much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nah.
goodness.
Yeah.
I don't have a heater. I work at a independent repair shop, so I get the luxury of working in a heated environment with racks, unlike Kyle, who's on jack stands and in a cold garage.
Poor
so,
Kyle.
but he's wanted to bring his car over to the shop all the time to work on it because of the ease and convenience. But winter weather keeps the car inside, so
I keep thinking about putting a lift here.
You'll never make it.
What?
You'll never make
You're
it.
never gonna make it.
You're never going to make it. You got to get one of those flat ones you drive over and it lifts it up.
4-post? Nah.
No.
pad lift.
Like the pad lifts. They make ones you can move.
Oh, the old
too.
school ones with the cylinders in the ground?
Well, no. It's like a scissor. Like that.
yeah, it just crushes everything.
Yeah,
in
those
your
don't
car.
work. Yeah, those don't work for
Well,
those
you're
don't work for
using-
hot rods.
but
Those
it's
don't
the
work for
same
low
car.
car.
It's
Those
the
work.
same car
Those
every
work for
time.
98 Camrys, and that's it.
Well, maybe.
Nah, I'm not a fan of those.
Ones you just don't give a shit about. You just lift
Yeah.
up and hear
No,
the
the scissor
crunches.
lifts, the center scissor lifts,
Yeah.
those aren't good for much anything.
I feel like it'd be okay if you're using it on the same car.
And it doesn't
You'd
go very
probably
high.
have to. How?
I'll get the thing 3 foot
What, you
high.
want it through the ceiling?
3 foot high, and I won't be able to drop the trans
You got
because
like
there's a big
9-foot
scissor
ceilings
jack
in
in
your
the middle.
garage. How high do you want it to go? You're only going to get it that high off the ground.
That's not high enough. But then I won't be able to service anything. And if you breathe
you
on it,
sit
it's
on
going
a
to fall over.
stool and you scoot around.
The weight's
little-
in the middle. You
little
won't be able to
tray.
work on it. Yeah, those
Certain
things
things.
make me nervous. You gotta
Certain things.
Close the door too hard and the car
Body
falls
work.
over. I don't do body work. We've established that.
He doesn't do body work and doesn't do electrical.
The LS hasn't caught fire yet.
There's
so.
a picture on your Facebook when you're in the Army holding a Humvee harness going, I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, I'm kind of well. There is. It's a good picture. We'll put it up here. I'm kind of proud of that. So it's funny. I had to rewire that entire Humvee because for some reason it wasn't shifting. We narrowed it down to the transmission harness, but it's not just a transmission harness. That actual like a Humvee, an entire thing is just one harness. It's one harness. There's not a light
Doesn't
harness, not a body
separate?
harness. No, one harness. So to fix the trans where some wires were screwed up, we tried rewiring it. It just wasn't right. I don't know if it was a I forget what you call it. I don't know, but it just didn't work. So I had to run the thing. Started the taillights. Worked all the way to the front. It took me a few days because it was up armored, so we had to pull off some of the armor panels sometimes. Had to separate the body from the frame to run the plug in the back. It was awful. It was a pain in the dick. Every gauge, had to come out. Everything. It was just one harness. I had never seen that before, and I don't know if any other trucks are like that in the military. They probably are. Thank God that was the only one I had to completely rewire. But that was a hell of a job. It was a lot of work.
It seems inconvenient.
I think they're thinking the opposite. I think they think it's one harness. So. Actually, I can't even sell it. Yeah, I can't even sell why it'd be easier.
No way.
I feel like they're getting. I saw an article where they could actually get replacing the Humvee with like a Chevy HD. I don't know. I don't know too much about them, but
They've been trying to replace it for years because the Humvee dates back to, I think it first came out in the 60s, the first iteration of it, but it wasn't put into use until like the late 70s or 80s. But yeah, they're pretty old. It's kind of an old design. So, I don't know. But, funny thing, talking about Humvees, let's talk about direct injection. We talked about this a little bit with, who was that? Brian, last week. Talked about direct injection a little bit. What do you guys think about it? It's the new thing. It's the new
terrible.
thing in hot rodding
Absolutely terrible.
Well, tell me why.
So I do automotive service and repair, and a lot of the newer cars are going direct injection, which means instead of having a fuel injector spray fuel on the back of the valve, it's spraying fuel directly into the cylinder. So you get a lot of carbon buildup on the intake and exhaust valves, which cause running problems. You end up having to do a lot more maintenance to them, as far as we have what's called induction cleaning. So it's a chemical that you put into a compressed cylinder, and it uses shop air, and it basically shoots a fine mist. You put this little hose in between the intake hose and the throttle body, and it sprays kind of a mist into the throttle body, cleans all the carbon inside there, and then it gets vaporized and travels through like the intake, the back of the valves, and it takes all the carbon off of it. But it's just, I mean, I understand they've done it for a long time with diesels, similar, but it's just with gasoline engines, it doesn't work as well. It's a lot more maintenance behind it.
I would think it would keep at least the intake valve cleaner, because with normal port fuel injection, you've got the fuel injector going into the port. With direct injection, it's straight into the cylinder. I would think it would keep the valves cleaner.
We've seen a lot of cars that have running issues, a lot of BMW, Mini Cooper, stuff like that, where they actually have to take an acorn shell, blast all the different valves and valleys and stuff like that, because they build up with so much carbon that they clog and you have running issues. I know there's certain fixes for it, like we'd use it's a BG product, but we do induction cleaning, and we also do a fuel service at the same time, so it also helps clean out the injectors, that kind of stuff. So it's a bear either way you want to go about it. But
So you don't even like it for hot rodding?
no.
Even the hot rodders are starting to get on board with it.
I know, but I'm old school. I like carburetors. And
Because I know Chevy's got direct injection. The Vets, the Camaros, they're all direct injection. Is Ford and Dodge?
I'm pretty
Are they?
sure. Yeah.
They probably are. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like it because it's, like everything that comes out new, it's making more horsepower.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I don't know what kind of voodoo witchcraft is going on by changing the injector placement, but it's making power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
The problem is the fuel pressure. I know people are saying the
High
pumps,
pressure
because
fuel pumps.
you need a lift pump in the tank still, and then you need a pressure pump on the like in the back of the manifold.
Yep. We see a lot of Buick, GM. They have high pressure pumps that fail a lot of times.
What years are we talking vehicles?
Like 2012s and up. Some of the Chevy Cruises we've seen actual high pressure pumps go bad, and you got to put a high pressure pump in at that point.
So my wife's car is direct injection.
Yes.
Wow. Can't believe I didn't know that.
Yep.
Well, that explains all the ticking.
It's a very loud tick, almost sounds like a lifter tick, but it's actually direct injection.
Yeah, Brian and I talked about that with because
Mini
I was complaining about the compression in the new Hondas, and he
Mhm.
was saying like, "Oh, that's more the direct injection."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hondas, they are eliminating the V6 in the like Odysseys and stuff, and they're going to a turbo 4-cylinder.
So what you were saying, yeah, that kind of seems to be the trend anymore. Everyone's going away from V6s and even V8s in a lot of cases, and everyone's just either going small displacement and big turbo, or well,
Twin turbo,
yeah. I mean,
EcoBoost, junk, by the way.
well, all right. Why so? Tell us.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Come on.
So my biggest pet peeve is, Ford claims they can haul 10,000 pounds on the EcoBoost. Well, that's great and fine and dandy, but you're hauling 10,000 pounds with a half-ton pickup truck. So you got half-ton axles, you got half-ton brakes, you got, half-ton suspension. It's just not equipped to do 10,000 pounds all the time. When I remember watching the commercials, they were hauling 10,000 pounds on a trailer around a big racetrack oval. Well, that's
The trailer
great.
with Dennis Leary,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, you get that car up to speed. It doesn't take a whole lot of momentum to keep it going.
Driving
It
a Chevy,
takes-
idiot.
it takes a lot of, power to stop those things. I see
Yeah.
guys hauling skid steers with them. I see guys hauling backhoes with them.
You do?
I see fifth wheels with them. And it's just like, you guys are way overdoing what that truck was ever designed to do.
Oh yeah, 1500s anymore. They've got the power. Like a 1500 nowadays has power for days, but the bodies aren't. I mean,
Right.
they're made to ride more comfortably.
Especially-
They're not meant to haul. Man, if I see somebody with a Bobcat or a skid steer being pulled with a 1500, I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that always drives me nuts when I see somebody stupidly towing something the wrong way. And it's always a camper
Yes.
because they don't know what they're doing.
Or a boat.
Camper or a boat with no levelers on it. Like tonight, we could get on Craigslist, Facebook, whatever, and go get a leveling kit for $150. and you could put it on your truck and your camper. Now you're gonna have a $40,000 truck, a $40,000 camper, and the jack and the tongue is almost dragging the ground. That's stupid. Like, and then you see them upside down the freeway.
So you're not talking front leveling kits. You're talking about like airbags.
No, I'm talking about bars.
They're like torsion bars.
Torsion
You mount them
bars.
onto the tongue of
Yeah.
the trailer.
Oh, those things.
Yeah.
No, those don't work.
Stability bars. Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
They 100%
They
work.
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I've never used them.
I have.
There you go.
You just said they didn't work.
No, they do. I don't know why people don't use them. Like,
So what were
They're a very cheap investment.
they're extremely cheap.
Oh, so you were arguing for going and buying those things.
Yeah. I will
Oh,
see
okay.
people just hooked up to their Suburban, or not even Suburban, like a 4Runner with a 30-foot camper, and
with nothing.
and it's like that.
If it fits, it ships.
And I'm like, wow, you're gonna kill half your family
Yeah.
on vacation.
Well, people have heard me talk about this, and you guys especially. Like with my Dodge, it's it's the stock coil spring rear, and I haven't towed anything yet, and I refuse to until I put bags in the back. Because anytime I put anything, I mean, if you look at the back wrong and put a mower in the bed, I mean, it's on the ground. Because they're meant to ride comfortable. They're not meant to
grocery
haul
getter.
anything. Well, thanks. I wasn't going to go that far. But, yeah, I mean, you really need to put things in the back of trucks nowadays to haul anything. At least 1500s.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not big ones like your tell us about your F-250. What year
It's a
is
350,
No.
first of all.
It's a big one ton.
So
Big boys and big toys.
back up on that, bro. Well, what about it?
Well, tell us about it. What year?
Oh, I just have a 19.
Just a 19.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit better than like a fleet truck. I ordered it.
It's got wheels, not steels.
It's got wheels and chrome bumpers.
4-wheel drive.
Yeah, 4-wheel drive.
And it's a 6.2, right?
It's a
6.2 V8.
6.2 V8, 4 doors with short bed.
And you haul with it all day, every day.
All day, every day. I drove it tonight. I drive it nonstop.
Is there anything that
Um,
you have found trouble hauling with it? Because it's all stock suspension, right?
Yeah, it's all stock. As far as suspension, no. I mean, it's rock hard. There's not much. Really, my biggest problems, I run into trailer problems. I don't really ever run into truck problems. I don't know if we ever had truck problems hauling things. It's always the trailer will be the weakest link. You try
Yeah.
to put, 20,000 pounds in a trailer that's made for 10. The truck will still pull it down the road at 30 miles an hour, but it's not gonna. The trailer falls apart before the truck does
Yeah.
every single time. But no, I like the truck. I'm glad I bought it. I catch a lot of crap for it being a Ford, but that's okay. I ordered it. I mean, I think I don't know if I told you, but I paid $43 for it, and that was surprisingly low.
It is for an F-350. It really is.
And it's a nice truck. I mean, it's not. I don't know if like you would enjoy it as like a daily, as far as like comfort,
Well, I don't know if I'd need it,
but it's like the interior aesthetics and things like that. But I like it. I can't complain.
well, all my trucks are cloth interiors. I don't think I'd.
Well,
be a
yeah,
problem
but
with that,
Dodges are a little bit nicer. Dodge has always got nice interiors and they look nice. They're just a piece of crap vehicle.
I think it depends. Yeah.
But,
The
but
interior depends.
that's the truth, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you saw my loaner out front.
and
There.
that's don't get me started on that. I thought you were grandpa. I thought your grandpa was here.
Every time I get a loaner, because I have to admit I have taken the truck in a few times for work because it's got a warranty. So, and as long as it's got a warranty, I'm gonna let them do the work and let them do it because I don't have to pay for
Need
it. So
need a drink?
I
bud?
got some down here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Stockpiled.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I give me a loaner, and they usually give me a truck loaner. I guess they treat the truck people better. I don't know. But the loaners are always nicer. I don't know if it's a ploy to get you to go buy a new truck, but every time I get a
100%.
loaner, it's a bighorn. And I don't have a bighorn. I've got one up from the base model, I don't know. Every time I get a loaner truck, I pull out of there with it, and I'm like, damn, this is nicer than mine. They're always V6s, but they're bighorns. So they ride better. The interior's nice, full touchscreen, serious, and
They
everything.
don't want you going hauling campers around with it.
I guess.
You ever thought about getting a V6? Like when you bought your truck, did you think about it?
I didn't, and we've talked about this quite a bit. I'm kind of a loyalist. I have to stay. I got to stay on a V8.
Except when it kicks into 4-cylinder.
Yeah, that's.
So
Man, it sounds like a rattly ass Honda from
No,
1990.
I am done with that. I mean, I think Ford's the only one. From what I understand, the Ford 6.2s are the only ones left between the big three that don't have a 4-cylinder mode. Chevy's had a 4-cylinder mode for years.
yeah.
Dodge has done it since '07, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, no, the 4-cylinder mode, I can't do it. Between that, the knob shift, and the other 39 things that are wrong with it.
That would be the one thing I couldn't do is a knob. It's just like, no.
Oh, I know. I throw my pinky out every time you have to. It doesn't feel right. But
So what are you gonna do?
I'm thinking about hanging on to it till the warranty's done.
Oh yeah.
And then moving it, because I honestly there was a while there for about 8-10 months ago where I was really trying to push it on some people that were looking for a truck, and I was looking to sell it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized, like, if I get rid of it,
close to you. Yeah, we remember.
poor bastards. If I get rid of it, I won't be able to buy anything else. Because even though that was a 16, it's only 19 now. I mean, they've still gone up more than appreciation in those 3 years, so I won't be able to buy another truck.
Why?
Not a new one. Well, I can't for the price that I'd like. Mine was
things go up over time, Kyle.
not well. Vehicles don't with inflation. We've talked about
But
this.
you
a
could
lot.
probably just buy what you want and then be happy.
Yeah, but my wallet wouldn't be happy anymore. I mean, I struggled to buy that thing, and I won't say they gave it to me because they definitely didn't for having it on the lot till the end of the model year. But I don't know. If I sold it today, I don't think I could get anything as nice. Because I go into Ford every now and then. We've discussed this. I've told you guys about this. I tried to buy an F-150, and they were like, yeah, for that mid-level package, it's going to be 50. And I was like, if you get it to 40 so we can then start negotiating, we'll talk. And of course, they say no, and I said, well, thanks, have a good day.
Should have just bought an F-350.
Yeah, if I'd known they were as cheap as you got yours, maybe I should have.
Probably could have got a 250 for 40.
Maybe I should have. Yeah. But that's my story.
Next
I don't know.
time.
What do you think, Brad? What do you think I should have got?
Probably a Ford or a Chevy. I'm a Chevy loyalist, so.
I am too when it comes to cars. I've just never been a huge fan of newer Chevy trucks. Like once they went IFS, independent front suspension, I never was a huge fan of them. I don't know. But that's kind of what I've been looking at recently. I've been thinking about getting like a 2500 gasser.
Yeah.
Like a nice, not quite a Denali, but at least the package with the wheels. Something like that.
Well, I mean, if you sold your truck and you stopped trying to, buy Craigslist shit all the time.
No,
I mean,
Facebook Marketplace.
I'm talking, okay.
Which is not much better.
Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, wherever you want to look at. This guy sends us like a link to something twice a day, at least. And it's some garbage pile of shit that's got 100,000 miles on it. Every quarter's beat on it, but it's $5,000. He's like, oh, I can afford that. And it's just like...
Because there's something about that number.
He beats the guy up.
So then he goes down and looks the car over.
Took 2,500.
Throws a price at the guy. Guy goes, no. A week later, the guy calls him back and he goes, I'll take your offer. And Kyle goes, nah.
Oh, that one? No,
That's a Kyle move, though.
Nah.
I must have 20 things at my house that Kyle was supposed to buy for 15 cents. Nah, I don't want to do it. Nah, I'm not.
That one was a strange one because I left with him an offer that I felt was very fair, and I was there for a long time. We were there.
I was there. It was raining.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was very American Pickers style. We ended up going through all his shit and talking about it, and I'm trying to have him on the podcast actually. But long story short,
I'm not dealing with you, bro.
I made an offer that I thought was fair, and he didn't take it. And then a week later, he said, "Hey, but it's a week. You can't. Things change in that time. Man, found other stuff to buy. But I'm still thinking about it actually.
You ever sold a car to Kyle?
No, he tried to buy a truck from me last week, and then I tried to talk it out of him like every 5 minutes. I'm like, Kyle, it's a bad idea. No, it's great. We can buy it, and I'll lower it and put wheels on it and everything else. It'd be a great truck. I've always wanted to do one of these. I'm like, Kyle, it's a piss poor idea. Lucy's going to kill me.
Brad had a 97, right? 97 Silverado 2-wheel drive extended cab short bed with a cap and
score.
Yeah, V8 2-wheel drive auto, and I was thinking I'd slam it down on like some 18-inch torque thrusts, and
you
have
love
like
torque thrusts.
I do. I figured I'd have like $4,500 in the thing, and then you put enough messages in my head. The next day I woke up and I was like, nah,
that's a stupid idea. My thing is like it's a good truck.
That's stupid.
And it's a good idea, but it's a Ohio truck, so it's got a little rust to it, and then. He's looking to probably recoup his money out of it, and I don't know who's going to want to come along and buy some old-ass 97.
He wants to sell it for $9,000.
Yeah. That thing did not have much. That thing did not have much rust.
I'm not selling it for less than $9,000. These idiots on Facebook.
Well, every time I say that, though, I end up taking 4.
Well, that's why you're still sitting on a motor that's in your garage, because...
I'm not going under $500. I'll turn it into a table, which is actually what I'm thinking about now. I've got a
Boy,
Hemi.
That's an expensive table.
I'm not going to ask $500 out of the table, but I'll sell the cylinder head separate, the intake and throttle body separate, and then I'll...
You can't sell them now.
Because it's the whole motor. For some reason, people see an assembled motor with everything there, and they see the one problem, which is big, but they see the one problem, and they think, no, I'd rather pay that same amount for all the parts separately. Yeah.
Spun bearing.
They'd rather pay more for all the parts separately than just buy the whole thing as a bulk. It's like something you tell yourself in your head. Like when a car's blown up. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, there was a Trans Am. 01, 02. It's last year Trans Am. It had the LS automatic. 60,000 miles on it. It was for sale on Facebook Marketplace the other day, and it had 4,600 on it. And I was like, oh, shit. So I started looking at it. I see a state sale. I'm like, oh, this is looking good. And the guy says, it's got a noise. Okay. So I message the guy. I'm like, hey. And I actually, because I'm a gentleman, I was like, hey, I know everybody's been asking you this, but what's the noise? Hoping it's like that kind of tick that LSs make a little bit when they're cold.
It's a door dinger. Won't shut off.
He said, no, it's got a throwing rod. I said, oh, that's
At least he's
great.
honest.
Yeah, no, so I had to be that guy that like,
You were
thanks,
like,
man.
Will you take 500?
No, I just said thanks.
And he said yes, and you said no.
Nah.
I'll trade you a Hemi. No, there's lots of things out there, but that is one thing that I wanted to talk with you guys about was selling and buying stuff online these days.
Here's the other thing with your Hemi, though. Is not a lot of people need it.
I know. If it was a Chevy, if it was a 5.3, gone. It would have
Right.
been gone the second day.
Like, it's pretty specific market you're looking for.
Oh, I'm learning that the Dodge hot rodding market, because with Dodges, it's all been dailies, trucks, 4x4 parts here and there, but not a whole lot of stuff. I mean, so trying to sell a Hemi and a 6-speed Hemi transmission,
We'll advertise it. I mean, people are watching advertise it. What do you got?
I got a 2010 Hemi with a spun bearing for sale and a TR6060 out of a 2010 Challenger, which the transmission's good. The transmission's worth the most money, but
You got the shifter?
shifter, clutch, everything. I got everything. You want to drop it in?
Harness?
No, I actually did sell the harness. That's the only thing out of the whole package I was able to sell.
Oops.
Yeah, well, I didn't need it. You're not going to need it if you're swapping it into something older anyway. So, and I gave that away for pennies. But
15 cents.
yeah, pretty much. But I'll sell it eventually.
Little pocket jingle.
Well, you know what I was thinking about doing? So Good Guys is coming up, and I've seen people do this before. Usually it's to sell a car, not a small part, but people will make T-shirts with whatever they're selling on it, and they're walking around the show. They're advertising the whole day. I think it's a great idea.
All I see is the shirts say I'm with dumbass, and it's got the finger pointing the other way.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you can read this, the bitch fell off. Maybe
If I
maybe
wore your
Sturgis.
T-shirt, I would just take it off.
Maybe that's Sturgis. What?
I'd walk around with it tied around my waist.
So you walk around with your shirt off?
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't-
hot in July.
It is.
Gross. Downtown with all those people.
Good Guys is coming up, folks. When is it? July
Second week in July.
12th, 13th, 14th? Or is it 13th, 14th?
Whatever that weekend is. Second
yeah.
weekend. Second weekend in
Second
July.
weekend of
We're
July.
off this Friday.
To Sunday. Sunday's the All Year's Day. We're going to be there Saturday.
It's car overload. Everything cars. Anything and everything.
If you guys have never been to Good Guys, I'll throw this disclaimer out, though. If you're not like a really hardcore car guy, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for you.
It's a lot to see.
Yeah, maybe don't bring your kids. They're going to be worn out before you make it.
Past
What,
the
10%. They're saying there's up to 6,500 cars.
Yeah.
Stop
It's
having
a big
kids,
deal.
too. What's up with that?
What?
I said, and stop having kids, too, guys. What are you guys doing?
I don't know. I'm
It's
sure
like,
there's a lot of listeners.
No one
that have
else wants to
kids.
see your kids at Good Guys either.
Yeah, well, as long as they're not running out in front of a car, I guess. But yeah, so we're going to be there Saturday. Let us know if you guys are going to be there. I'd like to see you guys. Come out, talk to us. We're not going to have a booth or anything. We're not that high speed, but
Maybe.
we're going to be there wandering around. So if you see like a guy with a shirt on saying blown up Hemi for sale or a 6-speed or maybe whatever car I bought between then and now that's for sale, yeah, give
We'll
us
just
a
make
shout.
you a shirt. We'll just get like a high-vis orange shirt, and we'll write on it with a Sharpie.
I
And,
could. I would. I'm not above that. If
Sure.
it gets something sold, hey, I'm all about marketing.
Well,
Okay.
that'd be like a $4 investment.
I can sell a ketchup popsicle
But
to
you
a
have to
lady in
take
white
it
gloves.
with you.
Well, I'll put it in the truck.
Lock it up.
No, I just leave all my windows down and the truck unlocked.
You can put the whole motor inside the truck.
No, the transmission.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not going to wear a
okay.
T-shirt, $500 blown up Hemi.
You can carry it on his shoulder like, I got it here,
Why
guys. You
wouldn't
want
you?
it?
I did. Funny story one
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I was at the show and this was back in, I think, 2010, 2011. I needed a little vacuum fitting for the small block that was in the Camaro at that time. The little vacuum fitting that runs the trans and whatever vacuum accessories you need. And I couldn't find it online for some reason. I know it's out there everywhere now, but it's like a little T-fitting for vacuum that goes in the top of the intake manifold. And sure enough, in the swap meet area of Good Guys, there was a guy selling like an old Hugger Orange intake manifold to some kind of 350 with a quadrajet on it, and it had the fitting. And I said, "Hey man, how much for that fitting?" He was like, "Well, I don't know. I don't have a wrench." I said, "Okay," but he said, "I'll give you a hell of a deal on the whole thing." I said, "How much?" And he said something silly, like $50 or something. I was like, "Ah, the hell with it." So I bought the whole thing. Well, of course, it's cast iron with a quadrajet bolted to it. So I had to haul that thing because, the swap meet's in the one corner. The parking lot's all the way in the other corner of the fairgrounds there. Hauled that thing on my shoulder with the girlfriend there who's bitching to me the whole time. Yeah, ex-girlfriend prior to the wife. And, hauled that thing across the stadium fairgrounds. By the time I got to the truck, I was dying. It was a workout. Ruined my shirt and everything. But I got my damn fitting.
Ruined your shirt. Wasn't one with Sharpie all over it, was it?
Well, it was on my shoulder, the bottom of the intake manifold's on my shoulder. But Good Guys, if you guys are going to be there this year, let us know. Let me know. I'd like to see you guys there, talk to you.
We also do cruising at night too. There's a bunch of car meetups at hotels nearby, all around Columbus, really, that you can go to, and all the cars are parked there. People are walking around looking at them. We used to go down to Bush Boulevard, and they used to get pretty crazy down there, do burnouts and rev them up. Some of them shoot fire out of them, all kinds of fun stuff. So.
Yeah, Bush Boulevard and 161 was the big thing because all the cars come back from the show were staying in that like hotel row off of 71 there, and they'd come back, and just hundreds upon hundreds of people would sit there with their lawn chairs watching cars burnouts. It was great. Well, apparently it got too much fun, and the fun police had to it got shut down.
Had the ghetto bird come out, shut it down.
They shut it down early. It was still daylight out.
Yep.
So they killed it, and that kind of, I think it's still going on, but it's probably not as good. So we kind of switched over to Quaker Steak and Lube at Polaris Parkway there. Yep. And it's pretty much the same thing. They do have a police presence there, and the police kind of mitigate the burnouts. They'll let you do some burnouts for a little bit, then they'll shut it down. So we went there last year. We're going to be there again this year. Probably go both nights, right?
Yeah,
Friday and Saturday night of that weekend, that same Good Guys weekend, we'll be there.
6 to whenever.
Yeah, give us a shout. We'd like to talk to you guys there. There's a big car show there. Obviously, you can get your food and drinks there, and a lot of burnouts.
Yep.
So.
Bring stuff to sign.
Yeah.
Kyle, autograph whatever you got.
Yeah, one person will come.
Your mom.
Yeah. Well.
Hi, sweetie. We're proud of you.
Yeah. Hey, you got to start with one supporter, right?
I like your mom. She's a nice lady.
Thanks. She is.
Yeah.
She's a saint.
How'd you put up with you all these years?
I don't know. I was talking to my parents about that the other day. I was like, I don't know how you guys did it. But anyway, no. Let's bring this back around though. I wanted to talk about buying and selling stuff nowadays. Yeah, bring them back. Bring the trains in.
I feel like there's a couple branches of that too. Like you could branch off on that. Like,
well, tell me. What do you think?
Well, I mean, number one, it's ridiculous to buy and sell stuff. But I don't know if it's just because I have like most of my brain cells left and a slight education. I don't know what these other people are doing that you're trying to communicate with online when you're buying and selling. And the other thing is like the prices are wildly all over the place. Like I feel like there's two different situations, and I can give you like an example of both. But it's crazy, like to deal with people online. Like I feel like people just say something just to be like a part of it.
Yeah.
Like you can look at something that's for sale and think, oh, that's cool, and move on to the next thing. You don't have to say how much or is this still available when you have no intention of like even responding to the response you get on your first question. Just shut up. Just don't say anything.
Well, that's all I got. I had that Hemi Trans and a few other miscellaneous parts up for about 6 weeks. And I'm not kidding. I'd say about, if I had to average it out, 2 or 3 messages a day saying, is this available? And 90% of them, well, I'd write back to all of them saying it is. I'm thinking in my head like it's up. It's still available. I'd write back to them all the same thing. It is. 90% of them, nothing back.
Yeah, they
why
don't respond.
Did you write me? I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think
and this is Facebook Marketplace I'm talking
bored,
about.
I guess.
Yeah, this is Facebook Marketplace we're talking about. I haven't used Craigslist in a while. Did you guys hear that Craigslist charges now?
$5 a listing.
Yeah, to sell a car. But I get why they did it. I think it was to kind of mitigate the amount of scammers.
Yeah, repeat listings, stuff
all the
like
scams that are coming in, because it was getting pretty bad there for a while.
You scroll through pages and pages of the same cars. It's
just like car lot cars.
Yeah, person listed every 5 minutes. And it's just like,
Yeah.
floods the whole thing.
But I think Facebook Marketplace is getting that way because, like I said, I mean, I started selling this Hemi stuff, 2 months ago now, and it was just bad. It was just I was just getting messages, getting nowhere, just stupid comments, and nobody would come. Like, I'm just showing up that day. Where are you, man? No, I'm not going to come. Thanks.
Well,
I appreciate it.
their grandpa died. Their dad's in the hospital.
No, usually they were just like, nah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I've only sold
Ridiculous.
one thing on Facebook Marketplace. It was a Toyota Corolla that I had bought from the shop and fixed up, selling. And the amount of people that would respond and say, would you take 1,000 cash? It's like, well, the asking price is $2,500. Why would I take half when you haven't even seen the car? And then it's like, I have a certified check. I can't come see the car, but I have a certified check. And, what's your, information? I'll mail it to you and I'll have somebody pick the car up. And it's just like,
Oh, well, that's the scam. That's the scam
it's
one.
2019.
Okay,
I'm
listen,
not
sir.
a
Here's what I
moron.
do. Listen, sir.
Or
Here's
they
what
send
we
you
do.
a check for way too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they stole it.
That's the
And they're like,
scam.
so you just cash it and then give me the difference because I screwed up and wrote you a check for $50,000 rather than $5,000.
I've actually only had somebody try and pull that scam on me one time, or let them get far enough into it that they tried to pull it on me. The guy was like, "Okay, I'm interested in Hemi 09," like just listed the title word for word, and I was like, "Okay." I responded back to the guy like, "Yeah, it's available," and the guy was like, "Okay, here's what we do. Like, I send you a check for money. You send me," and I was like, I actually wrote him back like, "Ha ha ha," 37 times, and obviously he didn't write back, but I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous."
I actually don't have Facebook Marketplace.
Now, what do you sell all yours on?
I just post it on Facebook. And then,
I gotta take a picture of it.
yeah.
Hey, if you got enough
I don't
friends,
update my phones ever because I have an iPhone and I'm afraid.
if you got the network, I mean, if you got the networking in the amount of
I
friends,
sold that Tacoma I had on Craigslist. And it was super sketchy, but it was legit. Remember that?
yeah,
Where the dude came from like Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, which I don't know where that is, but I'll assume it's over like 2.5 hours away. It's a white guy, and he showed up in a brand new F-150 decked out. Like the sticker was still in it. It was like $72,000. I don't know what it was. It was wild. And he had this little, I think he was like Guatemalan guy with him. Didn't speak English. Super nice guy. Didn't speak English. He wanted the truck. So he paid me in cash. $24,000 in cash.
all right.
On
Once.
Saturday afternoon, 20s.
Jesus.
Jesus, wow. How does that? Do the math. That's
So I had a garbage
wow.
bag full of it.
Drug deal.
They wanted the truck. The guy that bought it couldn't drive a standard. And it was a 5-speed.
Oh no.
So the other guy drove the truck home. No tag on it. Because there was no... I wasn't going to give him my tag. Because
Right.
I'd never see it again.
Commit a crime with it.
So...
I think that's normal to give them your tag though, so
Mm-mm.
they can get home.
No.
they can
I
get
never get my tags.
bent.
Hmm.
Bring
I always,
your own tag,
I always
son.
give them one tag because when I pick up a car, I expect them to give me one tag to get home.
No.
You can
I know you can show them like the title and just explain
Proof
to the
of
cop if you
purchase
got,
that-
yeah.
Bill-
yeah, I mean,
bill
as long as
sale.
you're in direct transit.
Yeah.
Like I know that's the law.
Yeah.
As long as you're in direct transit, but that's a far way to go. But yeah, so they left, and I immediately left because it's Saturday afternoon. Where do you go? So I think
Yeah.
I drove like my parents and dropped some money to my grandparents, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna come back and kill me. But now I paid like $29 for that truck, and I sold it for $24, like a year and a half later.
That's
So,
pretty good.
I
It's
know.
not bad.
I'll take it.
Resale
I don't know.
value is really, really good on pickup trucks. Toyotas especially.
Toyotas especially, and I had the worst one ever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you did. You
I had the one bad Tacoma.
well, yeah, Ryan's the only guy that's had a Tacoma, and it'd be a shitbox.
It was junk.
Tell us about why it wasn't good.
Um,
Because I drove it, I agree, but
the radio and touchscreen and all the dash stuff broke, like intermittent on and off. Just did weird stuff. It hopped in fifth at freeway speeds. Like at certain speeds and certain times it would hop. So I don't know if the rear end was screwy or what, but it had a hop to it. Like it was bad.
think tires, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't
Tire balance.
think so because it didn't do it all the time.
Hmm.
So I don't know what it was, but I had it checked out. I drove it to Key West once.
Drove it to Charlotte.
drove to Charlotte, but on the way to Key West, like soon into the trip, the cruise broke. And
That's great.
This was a brand new truck. Like this wasn't a.
And this is a Toyota, so it's
Toyota.
supposed to be good.
It's like the best vehicle you could buy. And the cruise broke. When I test drove the truck, it had 1 mile on it. That's on and off the truck, basically.
Wow, that's yeah.
So had 1 mile on it when I test drove it and I bought it. Yeah, and it had I think I put 13,000 on it in a year and a half, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I didn't drive it that much. I basically just drove it on trips, and yeah, it was just a box. Like you'd start it and the shifter flopped all over the place. Like
I do remember that.
Bad transmission mounts.
Real
and stuff.
aggressive start.
It was like way too much.
Now, was it a V6 or a 4-cylinder?
It was a 4-cylinder.
Okay.
It's 2.7.
I wonder if that's why. I mean, it still shouldn't be like that.
Shouldn't.
I agree,
like
but I remember because I detailed it for you before you sold it.
Yeah.
And when I had to move it, and I started, and I was like, "Whoa, is everything okay?" Yeah.
It just does that.
Yeah, for a 2015,
It's
what would that have been?
2014.
2014
Bought it
Toyota.
in like March of 14.
Yeah, I started, and the shifter moves around like a hot rod, and I'm like, "Oh God,
It was bad.
is this normal?"
Yeah. I mean, I loved the truck, but it was just like, how did I get the one bad one?
Well, didn't it also do terrible on gas?
It did do terrible on gas, which that's normal.
But for a 4-cylinder,
Four-cylinder,
4-wheel drive
four-wheel
truck.
drive, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight
Extended
to
cab.
move with not a lot of power. I
Yeah,
get that,
got,
but with the 5-speed, shouldn't it still do okay?
Yeah.
It's got like 1921.
That's not good.
No,
That's not good at all.
I would have bought a V6 if I knew that.
I mean, my truck, downhill with the wind at its back can get 21
Right.
on the best
I
day.
bet the
but,
V6 gets better mileage.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive the
Yeah.
V6 Tacoma gets better mileage,
that's
which was
wild.
crazy. But I'd love to have another one. I just don't have like a purpose for one. I really liked the truck as like a daily. It's very utilitarian. You can use it for everything. It's a nice car. It's got space, 2 rows, and it's a truck, 4-wheel drive, truck bed, everything.
No cruise control.
No cruise control. But, you could get it in a parking garage, park it downtown. It doesn't really matter. But you can't really tow anything with it.
People like them. I mean, I feel like they're like the second or third best selling behind the F-150. Do you know, Brad?
I don't know. I was going to add to that. So I actually had bought a blown up Toyota Tacoma at the shop I work at. Had a customer come in, timing chains had jumped. It was also a 4-cylinder. It was an automatic. Trying to think what year it was. I think it was an 04. Extended cab, silver, 2-wheel drive, which kind of sucked. I would probably fix it if it was 4-wheel drive, but I ended up buying the car from the customer, tore into it a little bit, started looking around for motors after I figured out timing chains had jumped.
So it was an interference motor.
Yeah, it's an interference engine. The motor is a 2.7, don't quote me. It's one of the harder ones to find, so like the motors were stupid expensive, and they're pretty hard to come across. So I ended up listing on Craigslist, and the response for a blown-up Toyota Tacoma was outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
people wanted to come buy it cash today, no questions asked, $2,000, and it's just like, it's a blown-up car, guys. You understand the engine doesn't run. And they're like, oh yeah, $2,000. Okay.
Real quick, just to interrupt. That's one of the other things in the headline. I have 5.7 Hemi spun bearing. Everyone would write me, "What's wrong with the motor?"
Did you read the ad?
I think I said, yeah. I think it was pretty clear. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Go away. Yeah, the guy that bought mine, I'm pretty sure he was from Guatemala, I think. But I think he had like a 94 Tacoma that had like 450,000 miles on it. And he was sending it back to like his dad or something.
Wow.
And there's nothing wrong with the truck. He just wanted a new truck. And he obviously had the cash. So he got a new truck.
Nice.
But those trucks last forever. And
Yeah.
I wanted to have that truck forever, which I wouldn't have kept it. I always got taken care of at the dealership. So there was no but there was too many problems. And I don't want to go to the dealership every month to get something fixed.
Well, you shouldn't have to. I
No,
mean,
you shouldn't have to. But
shouldn't
I just
even
wanted,
have to with my Dodge. You definitely shouldn't have to in a Toyota. I mean, let's be honest. Toyotas are pretty good cars. I mean,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have that.
And I think they are. I think those trucks are good. I just got like the one that was built on a Friday.
That's how I feel
Like
about my Dodge.
4:30.
During lunch break.
Yeah.
how I feel about my
Disclaimer:
Dodge.
I've never bought a new car, and I don't ever plan on buying a brand new car. I've always driven junk. I've always had cars that check engine lights on, or have to fix half a dozen things on it before it can hit the road. But all my stuff's safe, obviously.
Yeah.
It's all reliable. I drive it anywhere, anytime, any day. My wife inherited a 14 Expedition when her dad passed. It had like 30,000 miles on it when she got it. I just did all the brakes on it, 99,000 miles. She made on original brakes, 99,000 miles. She does a ton of highway, which
She put 69,000 miles on it?
yes.
Wow.
Yep, in 5 years, well, it's a 14. She got it in 16, so in 3 years, she put 60,000 miles on it.
It's about
Oh,
right.
okay. Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. So she also drives the shit out of my Honda, which we actually bought from one of her childhood friends. We bought that about 14 months ago, if I had to guess. Drive the wheels off that thing. I think we put close to 42,000 miles on it last year alone. But, I always drive junk. I don't like new cars. They're always just, problematic. The dealer, you have to go to the dealer for all these repairs, just kind of overwhelms me. It's like, I can fix this. Why do I need to take it to the dealer?
It's a mess. And I think that's why I complained so much about my Dodge, because I had always been of the same mindset. I had always said, it's silly to buy a brand new car. It's silly. I'm not going to. I can work on things. Why would I buy a brand new car? I've usually always bought trucks that were 3 to 4 years old. You buy them, they're good. And in a few years, you got to fix a few things. It's all good. And I finally buy a brand new truck, and the damn thing falls apart on me. Maybe that's just bad luck. Maybe
Before
that's
it's out
bad
of
luck.
warranty.
Yeah, well, thank God. Well, yeah, I hope so. That's why I'll try to move it probably before the warranty's over. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should maybe never buy a new truck again. I mean,
No.
well, like you said, I think this is one of those rare, because everyone I talk to.
Well, that leads to my next point.
Okay.
Is like the price of a used truck is outrageous.
Stupid. Yeah, coming from a
Yeah.
7.3 diesel owner over here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, when I sold my Ram, I had it, when I sold that Cummins.
You were looking for a slightly used truck, right?
Yeah, I was looking for a slightly used 1500 because I just didn't need the Cummins anymore, and I was tired of doing injectors. But let me see if I can get this right. I sold it to the month 8 years after I'd bought it, the 2005 Cummins. 8 years after I'd bought it to the month, and I only lost $5,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's to a dealer. So if I had private sold it, I'll bet you I
Probably
could have
could've
lost only
made
$2,000.
money.
How many miles did you put on it?
I bought it. It had a shit ton of miles racked up real fast. I bought it at 3 years old in 08. It had 75,000, something like that. And when I sold it, it had 120. So I didn't put that much on because I had it when I was in college, and I had a little beater 2001 Malibu that I drove all the time, which that's another story. People hate those.
Thanks,
I had a
Kathy.
good one.
Thanks,
I had a
Kathy.
great one. Yeah. Yeah, thanks to your friend that I bought it from. Yeah, I had a really good beater there. Maybe that made up for it. Not really, but yeah, so I didn't put a lot of miles on it, but when I sold it, yeah, the dealership was like, yes, come with me.
Yeah, it's crazy. I live next to a Ford dealership, and I can see the used truck lot very clearly every day in and out of my neighborhood. And the sticker prices are like 10 grand more than what I paid for my new truck because it's got leather
Yeah.
and 100,000 miles. That doesn't sell me.
So you're talking ones with like an upgraded pack, like a Lariat
Upgraded
or
package,
something?
yeah. But I mean, to me, like mechanically sound, I don't want the 100,000 miles in trade for an upgraded interior.
Because the warranty's long gone.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's more. Like you can't go buy a used 350
Yeah.
for 43,000 from a dealership because
No.
they're not selling rubber floors, vinyl seats, no cab lights truck like mine. Like I just wanted a basic truck.
Well, you had to order it.
A reliable truck. Yeah.
And
But
you
they
ordered
don't-
it for cheaper
They
than
don't
the-
even sell those at the lot.
But you ordered it for cheaper than they would sell it, which is strange.
100%.
I feel like I should throw out a disclaimer about the warranty. All three of us are very good mechanics. We all know how to work on our own stuff. We're all busy guys. You've got a family. You
Avoiding
have fun.
family.
I've got
He's
a,
got
I've
a
got
family
a
of
wife.
women that he mingles
Yeah, we
with.
all stay busy.
No.
But so I think we're all and Brad drives used stuff. So I guess you haven't even had the luxury of a warranty
yeah,
yet. And this is my first warranty that I've actually used. But
Made a fuss over.
yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's
I've got the warranty.
well, I can work on it. But if I've got the warranty,
Yeah, why would you?
Why would I?
hate working
Why
on
would
cars.
I?
That's why he pays me to work on all
I
this shit.
hate working on cars.
Well, you know what I always say? If I didn't love cars, I'd hate them.
Oh man,
If I didn't love 'em,
hate
I'd hate
working
'em.
on street cars.
Ryan calls me a couple weeks ago. He's heading on vacation somewhere. He's driving his Honda Pilot, and the transmission line that goes in the radiator blew. And
For who knows how long?
he calls me. He goes, "This fucking thing broke down." He goes, "You want to fix it?" I'm like, I guess.
I'm not doing it.
So
Was that your first Honda?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
And what happened? And it blew up on a
and
road
it
trip.
broke on him on a vacation run.
but that's a mint car.
Yo, it's super clean.
That was my
Very-
parents' car.
Very nice, clean Honda Pilot. 130,000 miles, all-wheel drive, not a speck of rust.
But did it get you to Florida?
No. A stupid. I knew it once it happened. I knew it happened. I mean the lines and the cooler,
Yeah.
they rust out.
So he went to vacation, came home,
Gotta
got
go back and
got
get
us
it.
got his truck and trailer, went back to the
'Cause I
place
was
he had it
very
towed
far
to.
from home.
Yeah, brought it
What
back
state
to
were you?
Columbus.
I was almost to North Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
I was 350 miles away. I had it towed back 100 miles.
It's pretty far to have your
With
Honda
AAA.
break down.
And the thing about it is my parents gave me this car. They just gave it to me. My mom got a new Acura. She said, "Do you want my Pilot?" I said, "Sure." So they gave it to me probably around Thanksgiving. And I don't know exactly how far I've driven it, how much I've driven it, but I put 1 tank of gas in it. And then I probably put like 6 gallons in to fill up for this trip.
Ryan, you're not doing a good ratio. 1 tank of gas, 1 new radiator. Next tank of gas.
I bet it was under 400 miles before I left for the trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they're never going to give me anything again. Because, of course, I was following my parents. So I had to call them. And I was like, hey, your perfect car broke after I've had it for 6 months. And they weren't happy.
That's just dumb luck, I tell you, because I feel
was.
like, you know, I mean,
And that was, I really like that car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got room for 7. So,
yeah.
you know, I'm not going to fill it up or anything. But I like it. It's nice and it's tame.
Do you think you'll ever trust it again?
No.
Like,
I'll drive it around town. I'll never drive it on a trip.
He
Yeah.
brings it to me on a trailer, and he's like, "Fix it." He's like, "I'm half tempted to sell the fucking thing because I don't trust it anymore.
I
I
don't
can't take it
trust it.
anywhere."
I'll drive it to dinner and stuff, but like you can't
Long
head
trips.
out on a trip
Yeah.
because what if something else happens or you don't know what the transmission did to itself. That's the thing. Like I know the line, the radiator, everything's good, fluid's back in it, works perfectly, but
1,000 miles from now.
how are those internals on that transmission that got ran dry?
Trust is a real thing in a car. I mean, if you can't trust your car to get you across, or if you got, you know, shaking nerves about how something's going to last, I mean, that's a real thing. And then what's the point if you
Right.
can't? Well, like you said, you're not going to take it out of state, so you'll still be able to use it. But I mean, that's a real thing. If you don't trust your car, I mean, that's a bad feeling. I've been there.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it sucks, but whatever. I'll still use it a bunch. I think it's going to come to you to get detailed because it's filthy
well, let's do it.
for sure.
Well, there's probably ATF all over the back.
Yeah, there's-
It's everywhere.
Yep.
Oh man, I was driving. I think we stopped for breakfast. I don't know, and then I think this happened like 90 miles later, and a little bit before it happened,
So breakfast had just barely settled.
breakfast had. Well, the way I eat, I was probably halfway done with breakfast. 90 miles. So I'm like, man, that back window is filthy, and I wanted to clean the windows before we left. I got busy, so I took window cleaner and towels with me. So I was gonna do it when we got there. And I was like, I'll have to really get that because it looked gross. It's like, man, I park under a tree or something. So I was like, man, that's gross. So then we're in the mountains and stuff, and I smell like clutch. And I was like, yeah, you know, some trucker's having a bad day. Like that's
that's
It's
just
not me. I'm in a Honda.
that's unfortunate. As I like, you know, continue to cram McMuffins down my face. And
Because it can't be me. I'm in a Honda.
yeah, I'm fine. It's never me. And you know my theory on like smells and noises. I ignore it. If you ignore it, it goes away. I'm not going to give it attention. So I kind of pass a car, and I go to get back over in front of this car, and it revs real high. Like it slips into neutral and back into drive. And I was like, did that happen? Like it caught me off guard so bad that I didn't. It's like, that's kind of weird. Like, I wonder. And then I start putting 3 and 3 together in my head, like, oh no. So I start like kind of trying to figure out, get my phone. I was going to call my dad and say, hey, we got to pull over. I just want to check this thing. Like it did something goofy. And it slipped again. and it was going down a big hill. I was like, okay, let me try to get it back in a drive here. So I shifted it. It wouldn't go back in a drive. Shut it off, back on the freeway. We're going down the hill, so I'm not losing any speed. I'm
No
like, well,
power assist brakes, no power
I gotta
steering.
figure something out
Yeah.
before I get to the bottom of this hill and
Just
try
don't
to
take
climb
the
it
key out of
again.
the column.
Yeah.
I got a story for that.
And yeah, and it wouldn't. It got down to like 40. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll pull over. And it just. all
And
over
these were in the
freeway.
hills of Caroline.
Yeah.
Right?
Almost.
Oh, almost.
Virginia.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, even worse.
350
Virginia's got some-
miles. It was like right outside Mount Airy.
Yeah, there's some big hills in Virginia.
3 hours before the tow truck got there.
Dang.
Yeah, because it was in like the worst possible spot. I had to figure out where to take it because what do? You're going to vacation. You don't want to like. And my parents are the type.
You got your beach balls in the back.
Oh man, my dad had his flip flops on.
Cooler full
Mom
bear.
had the big glasses. Flamingo already around
You
her.
got your
around her waist.
not your luau, your
Lay.
You got your lay on.
Yeah, grass
Shit.
skirt. Grass skirt. You know, he's wearing a grass
Coconuts.
skirt. Dad, why are you wearing that? And we finally figured it out, but it was a mess, man. Like I had to Google, and it was Saturday, maybe almost noon. So I had to like Google these places that weren't too far because I don't know what AAA package I have, gold or something, and they'll tow up to 100 miles. So you break down here, it's fine. But to try to find a place that's not like a family-owned service station.
Rape shack.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, 100 miles gets real small in the hills.
Yeah, and I finally found a Honda dealership, Bill Cole Honda, Princeton, West Virginia. Shout out. They took care of it, and super nice guys. I
Didn't
called
they
them.
not fix it?
They didn't fix it. They wanted like $800 to fix it, and I was like, it's not a big deal. And I told them. They called me on Monday, and I said, hey, here's the deal. Like, we're on vacation. You know, I'm from Columbus, and they're like, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Let us know when you're coming. You know, and they helped me load it and everything on the trailer. So
So he scumbagged me into doing it for half the price.
yeah, why wouldn't I? I'm thrifty, son.
Well, Brad, you do a lot of side work.
I do.
mean, that's how you
Yep.
make a
I'm
lot of
trying to
your
help
money.
Brad out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids to
You're supposed
feed.
to say you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Brad.
Jeez.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Grateful.
Brad does quite a lot of side work. I think so. I've never. Well, let me take the pressure off you. I feel like I've done the same thing, except mine's usually like, "Hey, Brad, let me help you while you do this, and I'll be there for moral support. Work on this vehicle."
Yeah.
So I'll go to your shop. I'll help you with it, but really, you're doing a lot. But
Yeah.
it was weird things. It was hubs on a diesel and whatnot. But,
Oh yeah, don't even get me started on that. So
yeah, but
so
I'll
yeah.
show up.
Yeah, no, I don't want to help.
I'll be there.
So
Let me know when
Kyle
it's done.
loves, for some reason, Kyle has this like weird fetish with like coming to my shop late on a Friday night and just working till odd hours of the middle of the morning.
I like hanging out in the shop with
Touching
my buddies,
everything.
car shops,
But
drinking.
I'm already there 50 hours plus a week. The last
Well, you
thing I
don't
wanna
want.
do
You can leave me there. I'll just hang out and wander around and play with shit.
is- yeah, but
There's a reason why I spend as little time as possible in an automotive shop.
Ryan doesn't like it.
No. I did that, and I'll never do it again. It was the worst job I ever had, and I've had some terrible jobs.
Oh, I did it, and that's why I don't want to do it. But if I'm not there professionally working, if we're hanging out, even
Yeah.
if we're working on a car or a truck, I mean, it's fun.
Last
Gives me
Friday,
flashbacks.
I did his radiator, and he was standing there trying to buy my truck.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you showed me the damn Silverado, then you start working on the Honda. So where am I? I'm over at like the service writer's desk on Google looking up like 18-inch American Racing torque thrusts. Like, I mean, you think I can get the discount rebate on these?
Hey, Brad, what do you think about this lowering kit? Hey, Brad, come over here and look at this. Kyle, I'm trying to fucking do
Did you
something
buy
here.
it?
No.
Why not?
I talked him
He
out
talked
of it.
me out of it.
Kyle,
Yeah, look at him.
Lucy
look at
would have
him.
my head if I sold him a truck and he put another
Well, I was
was
$2,000.
gonna
going to
buy it.
tell Lucy about it.
No, I was ready to shake his hand.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what sold it to me is I can't fit it in the
You
garage.
wouldn't have bought it.
I would.
He'd be like, all right, here's my
Let me
final offer.
think about
Here's my
it.
final
Let me
offer.
think
I'd be like,
about it.
all right. And he'd be like, nah.
No,
I
was ready.
better not.
No, I'll say this. I won't say the price. But I'll say
You're
this.
the guy. You're the guy just in real life. You're the guy that messages you. Is this still for sale? You do that just in real life. You're like, I'll buy it.
Didn't I buy your truck?
Nah. Yeah, and that was a pain too. Remember that?
What?
When he bought my truck,
On a test drive, the brake line blew. What kind of vehicle are
Oh
you trying
yeah,
to
the
sell me?
Chevy.
he took your phone to text me about it.
And then who had to go fucking put a brake line on it so we could load it on a trailer? Oh, that's right. It was me.
Was I not there?
Yeah,
And he's
with
still
a case of beer in
hanging
hand.
out.
And he still
drinking
weaseled
beer.
everything out of it.
Oh, we
Drinking beer while I ran brake lines.
No,
and
no,
flared
no.
brake
I was
lines.
there. I was there, ready to
Weasel.
help. I'm always there. Don't tell me I'm not always there.
Weasel.
Well, yeah, you were there, but
And didn't I sell you a Camaro
Yeah,
that
he's
you...
there. He's like wandering around looking at other stuff. Hey, this is neat. You
Cool.
want to sell this?
Those
There's-
race-
Nah, I don't need it.
There's cool
race
shit
car
to play
here.
with here. Now, didn't I sell you a Camaro that you made money on?
Yeah. But I should have kept that truck.
you should have kept the Camaro.
We both
too.
should have kept the truck.
I didn't want the
This is
Camaro.
the 84 K10 that I've talked about before. Yeah, I sold that for something like $3, and I think I wouldn't even take under $6 now
Yeah.
for it.
Well, same thing with the third gen though. He sold you the third gen. You'd probably double your money at this point. The stupid things are going through the roof.
We should have just traded back.
I made 50% back.
I think I broke even.
I'd buy that truck if somebody could find it because I guarantee you it's in crap condition.
Oh yeah.
I think we could find it.
I would buy it. I could probably buy it for what I got for it, but it'd be in terrible shape.
Mind you, Ryan bought this truck in high school, like senior year of high school.
Senior year of high school.
Yeah.
I was the man with that.
Well,
He
I tried,
showed up.
I
This
tried
thing
not
was
to think about what you
gorgeous.
did in that truck. But anyway,
can't
I bought the
remember.
84 from you. I sold you the 91. Now we both want both of the cars back.
I don't want the 91 back.
Oh, well, I do. No, you want the 84 back. I want the
you don't
91
want to talk
back.
to that guy. He's creepy.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess
I've
I'm not
never-
getting my 91 back.
Super weird.
I've never bought or sold a vehicle to either of these guys though.
Well,
No.
but your sister's
You wanna
friend's
buy a
cousin's
Honda
brother
Pilot?
sold me a car. That kind of counts.
It's sweet. Perfect. Brand new radiator.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy a Honda Pilot?
No.
You fill it full of kids, Kyle.
Yeah, because I can.
Yeah.
Because I can reliably drive it to the beach. Apparently.
No.
End up standing in a.
Well, I mean, it's
Honda
not like your
dealership
truck would
in
make
the-
it there either. So
Yeah, that's true.
Mine would.
You're Ford.
Our cars would make it to the beach.
yeah,
Yeah.
whether with my 200,000 plus mile
The
Honda,
Dodge hasn't let me down. It's just
How many miles does it have on it?
I think it's just shy of 2, like 199, 198, something like
the
that.
Dodge hasn't let me down. It just lets me down for what it is. Like it's the most money
Disappointing.
it's the most money I've ever spent on a vehicle, hands down, bar none. And from day one,
You're not mad.
there's
You're just disappointed.
oh yeah, it's like if Dodge was a person, I'd give that father speech. Son, I'm not mad. Goes into 4-cylinder mode. I'm just disappointed.
It's like a rattly ass Honda with no oil in it.
What's the most miles you've ever had on a car?
That I've put on, or
Well,
that
that you've had a car on a car.
believe it or not, that 01 Malibu. I sold it at how many? 198. I remember being mad because I was just shy of 200 and I didn't get to put 200 on it.
Who'd you sell it to? Boco?
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Yep. He shortly afterwards killed it.
I don't even know, but I just know.
You did, yeah. No, it died. It died. But that's the highest mileage car I've ever had. The lowest mileage is obviously the Dodge. What about you guys? What's the highest mileage car
What's
you've
your
ever had?
highest mileage car? That Honda?
Well, currently it's the Chevy Silverado I own, which the 97 he was talking about, it's 227 on it. But
Okay.
He told me that towards
just-
the end of the night.
I just bought the thing, so I wouldn't really count that as my highest. The highest is probably the Honda, just because I have close to 200K on it. But yeah, I think the lowest mileage car I've ever had is probably the 04 Chevy 1-ton flatbed that we have that's got 81,000 miles on it.
Heck yeah.
Everything else I've ever owned has had 100,000 plus.
So one thing I did want to talk to you guys about was racing, race cars. Ryan, you're the first person we've had on that actually was involved in actual sanctioned racing.
You can call it that, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to call it that. So Circle Track.
Yeah.
Amateur stock car. How would you sell it? Tell me about. Tell us.
So Weekend Warrior, I guess you could call it. It's common man's pastime that likes to work on cars. Nothing too fancy, at least not out of my operation.
Well, so you're the only person I've had on, probably the only person for a long time that does actual circle track racing, which is like NASCAR, just 8 levels down.
Very
Yeah.
very low.
Very, very low.
Yeah.
Local.
Sure.
Like Ma and Pa kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, because Brad and I go to a lot of the races where you race at, but where do you think it's going? What's changing?
I mean, stuff comes in waves. I feel like asphalt stuff's not doing too great right now, and I think dirt racing is kind of flourishing. Don't really know why. You could get into that for hours. It's just I don't know. It's just an old man sport basically. I mean, how many teenagers do you see at Good Guys?
Not as many as I'd like.
Right. So that kind of goes along with like, who's building race cars and who's buying race cars and things like that. It's
Daddy's building the race cars.
Daddy's building the race
sticking
cars.
a kid in the car.
Yeah, I mean that plays a big factor into the higher level stuff. People say that when they talk about the stuff that's on TV on Sundays, that it's just not as good as it used to be and this and that. Well, it's because it's not, 40 different guys with mustaches and draws racing. It's a bunch of children. And my take on that is nobody wants to watch children drive race cars. And it's just, I don't know, it kind of all plays into it. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Tracks close down here and there, and that's just economics. I mean, if you have a racetrack that's in a prime real estate location, you're gonna get a lot of money for it.
Well, yeah, we used to have a local circle track here in the southeast end of town in Columbus here, and that you raced at a lot, and that Brad and I went to a lot of races at. That was where I think I saw my first circle track race pavement race at, and that's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but it's kind of just a selfish way to look at it. I mean, properties for sale, properties get bought, people change plans. You can make a whole lot more money with a piece of property doing something else than you can operating a racetrack, especially like right now. I mean, it's rained so much this year. I think the track I race at's raced twice, and that kills your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still got to pay. They still got to pay mortgage. You still got to pay for insurance. So that stuff doesn't stop just because you're not running shows.
But I mean, as far as like the cars, the drivers, the rules, I mean, where do you like where things are going?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Okay. I mean, it's always just different situations where you got too many people making suggestions and too many people making rules, and maybe stuff's not being enforced too much, or people aren't really going with something that's super economical. You got to have cheap stuff for guys to do. You have to have it. And you can't let your lower level classes get out of control.
Well, do you think cheap and race cars can go hand in hand?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think it's easy to get away from it really quickly once you start having guys say, well, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Next thing you know, your race car that should have cost $3,000 to build now costs $15,000 to be competitive. And when you go from 3 to 15, you're basically going to flip the amount of cars, because you're only going to have a handful when it's at 15 to win. Instead of, if you could build a competitive car for 3, 20 guys will build race cars. And that drives the numbers up. Your gate prices, your people in the stands, your racing's going to be better. But it's tricky. I mean, it's easy to sit back and say what people should do or shouldn't do, but guys make decisions based on one thing or another, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There's a million different factors for circle track racing. We could talk about them all night, and I don't think it's in too big a trouble. Like I said, I think things come and go in waves, but it's okay. It's fine.
Brad, did you ever think about racing?
Yeah, I mean, I always liked the sport of racing. I always, every Sunday I was with my dad. We'd always watch NASCAR. I watched it from a young age. Always enjoyed watching it. Some people say, you watch it on TV and it's a snooze fest. Yeah, you watch first 50, 100 laps, you take a nap, you wake up, and you watch the last 100 laps. And, I get it. And you get the really long races and they get boring. But to actually go to a race and see how competitive it actually is and how much goes into every single week prepping those cars, dialing them in, all that stuff, it changes your aspect of how you look at the sport. I kind of agree with Ryan. I don't like how it's kind of going with how everybody's out. I'm trying how to say this, but they're the dollar figure to get into racing anymore. It's
Yeah.
just getting to the point
Yeah.
where you lose those.
It's not the common man sport
you,
as much.
You lose those.
No.
You lose the working man who wants to race. It's his hobby. It's not necessarily something you get into he's saying like the $15,000 cars. Some of these guys can't
Entry
afford.
level.
Yeah, you can't afford that. That's just entry level. You don't get into the higher end cars. You get 100 grand wrapped up in stuff.
Sure.
You blow a motor, it's 20 grand. These guys don't make 100 grand in a year, and these guys
because there's a difference to
Right.
get in and be competitive.
right.
There's
And
two different-
I miss
which kind of happens all in one day.
I've watched, they used to have it on Speed and, different documentaries and stuff. I miss the days where these guys would risk everything. They would put every dime they have into a car. If they didn't win Sunday, the family didn't eat Monday. They would race these cars as hard as they could. They put everything on the table. And you know what? They came up short sometimes, and other times they won. Earnhart Sr. was one of those guys, I've seen documentaries where he would go out and he would risk everything. He'd borrow money from the bank. He would take the family car and he'd sell stuff, and he would scrape every dime he could to make sure he had a car ready for Sunday. And they were the ones who put the hours in every single day, all week. They would put the cars together, not these crews of 50 people in an organization, and they got car haulers, they got backup cars, and they got all this other bullshit that goes along with these big names.
Yeah, it's wild.
They had one car, and they had everything risk on one car, and they go out and they'd risk it every Sunday, Saturday, Friday, whatever it was they raced to make enough money to race next week.
Well, Brad, you motivated me. I'm turned on now.
I mean, that's what I miss.
I know what you're saying for sure. It's funny because, you can go to any local short track and look at a modified or a late model team that's got, a stacker trailer or a
Yep.
semi
and you
to win a feature that pays $600 to win.
And you got Joe Schmover here with a trailer that's missing 2 tires, barely made it there.
Yeah.
Fenders are barely hanging on the car, and he's going to go out there and try his best just so he can have fun.
Yeah.
And get laughed at.
And yeah.
Well, what kind of cars do you run, Ryan, in these races?
I ran front wheel drive cars for a while. I shouldn't say ran, like I would tomorrow if somebody wanted me to.
Well, you're planning on running this year.
No front wheel drive stuff. I sold last year's car that I raced, so
And if you guys haven't been, I'd highly recommend trying to find a local
Any track.
asphalt or dirt, either one. It's a blast. It's usually kind of a hillbilly good time. Usually not too expensive to get into.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Different than what people usually do.
Yeah.
Like if you're not in that world and you go for the first time, you're like, oh, I didn't know this was like a thing. And then you want to go back every now and then. And it's definitely something fun to do, different to do. It's never too expensive to get in, $15-$20 maybe a person for an adult. Kids usually get in 12 and under free or $5 or whatever, but no, it's a good time.
Yeah. I'd recommend going if you can. Find your local track. Try and check it out.
For sure.
They're fun.
It's a good time.
Yep, I've watched Ryan race for a number of years, and then I went up to Eldora and watched dirt track up there. That's insane. Those guys are 100 miles an hour sideways,
Yeah,
full
that's a
throttle the
different
whole
animal.
time.
Dirt track's
They're
wild.
just nuts.
Dirt track is wild.
it's a-
You ever run dirt track?
Once.
How'd it go?
terrible.
No, it went okay. I ran a front wheel drive car and I ran a go-kart the same night. And I thought I was really doing something in this go-kart. I was holding on for dear life. I thought I was going twice as fast as I was going in the car. And then, the leaders went around me again. And I was like, whoa, they're really moving.
Is that the other cars?
I mean, my back hurt, my hands hurt. I was so tense. It was crazy. But I don't like messes. That's my thing. It's dirty.
Oh, dirt track?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got a white suit.
The name speaks for itself.
It's just
Yeah. Dirt track is
wouldn't
messy.
do good there.
You definitely can't go to a dirt track as a patron with a brand new washed car.
Yeah. FYI, if you also go there, goggles are a must because
Yeah,
if
you
not,
gotta wear goggles.
you'll be blind by the time you leave.
Yep.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
get mud
Dirt in
caked
your
on
teeth
you
for
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, and you're thinking, well, how? What if I sit in the top of the stands? No,
No,
the
you still get
dirt
kicked.
moves. The dirt
It's a
moves.
good-
They
good
water
time.
them down, and the dirt still gets up there. Yeah, I've been to a few where I forgot my glasses, and it's a
You're
mess.
toast.
Yep. You gotta.
Ray Charles. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're a good time. I mean, I love
Yeah,
it.
racing's fun, man. But here's the thing about that is I think attendance, I don't know. I really don't know. But I would assume that attendance for sporting events, live sporting events, is down.
Mm-hmm.
A big factor, I think, is because it's awesome to watch stuff on TV. Like,
People are getting lazy.
yeah. I mean, look at what a football game looked like in 1990. Like a OSU football game. Now someone's like,
depends on-
want to go to the game this week? And I'm like, not really.
It's
Like, I don't
also-
want to go down there and with a million people. I'd rather sit in my living room in my underwear. It's incredible on TV. I can watch 90 other games.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with racing.
It's also ticket prices though too.
Ticket prices. I mean,
The race,
and-
short track racing's not too bad. NASCAR is getting to the point where it's like, tickets are a little more and more expensive. and
Right.
You're losing the crowd.
but the other thing is, as far as like I said, teenagers are good guys, is it's not that exciting anymore. Because back in the day when our parents were kids, they didn't have phones. They didn't have a bunch of TV channels. They weren't on computers. They rode their bikes. They went bowling. They went to the swimming pool in the summer. They went to the circus. Like, people don't really do that kind of stuff anymore because it's dumb. Like, it compared to the phones that we
Amazon,
have
yeah.
and stuff on TV, and you can do whatever from your house. You don't have to go look for thrills anymore. You can watch short track racing on your phone.
I'm going to make a claim, though. I mean, going to the crappiest short track, circle track race I've ever been to is better than the best race I've ever watched on TV, NASCAR.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because it's different. It's a visceral experience going. Because, I mean, yeah, these, like I said, it's kind of a little hillbilly, but it's great. It's loud. It's noisy. You get the smell. Everybody's there. I mean, it's
Right.
You can't beat
I
that
mean,
with a stick.
I think it's just, as far as things go, kids don't work on cars anymore because it's not, I don't know why, but I mean, I think it has to do with, like, it's not, people don't go see, like, thrill shows anymore, Daredevils and things like that, because it's, so what?
The Wheel of Death.
Like, yeah, I mean, no one goes and sees a lion in a cage because it's dumb. You can watch Shark Week for, like, 10 days straight, better than any circus you've ever been to. So, like, it's just kind of, unfortunately, cars in general are probably victim of the times. And I'm sure I think it'll come back because things come in waves. But like my grandma used to collect dolls, like things like that. People used to collect things, and they don't want to get rid of them because those dolls are worth money. To who? You know what I mean? Like, there's no 30-year-old girls that are like, oh, I'd buy those dolls. Like, it's just things change,
Yep.
and you could apply that to a million different things, and it's just unfortunately, racing's a big thing that's going on. I mean, it's expensive. You can't just go get a set of golf clubs, racing-wise, a set of racing stuff, and go do it. Like, it's always going to need work.
Well, you can, but it's not going to turn out that successful.
I mean,
You can buy a secondhand car. That doesn't mean you're going to
and
be
it's
good.
also extremely difficult to get anywhere, as far as, like, rank-wise on talent. It's just, you need money.
I'm sure there's some guys that go out there just to have fun, just to race for the fun of it.
No. I mean, no one's going to say, he's good. Put him in a car.
Oh.
Higher up. I mean, the higher up you go, the less and less that is, because it's millions of dollars to run big cars sometimes. I mean, people don't have that money. It's so, you'll watch a guy that can't drive out of a rainstorm drive the same car for years because his dad owns 5 AutoZones or something, and that's just the way it is. You got to pay for it. Someone's got to pay for it. You're not taking showroom cars anymore and changing the floor pan and the firewalls, and you can go race anywhere with that. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
The cars they race on Sunday are probably $300,000-$400,000 race cars,
Oh, yeah. At least.
Easily.
Yeah.
and the shops are incredible.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no one's guts hanging out of their shirt anymore, and the floor's not dirty.
It's all white. It's all
It's
tile.
Perfect.
Well, their spare trailers are nicer than most people's,
House.
lifelong shop or
Yeah.
house.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So.
I mean, probably. Yeah, I mean, they're one of their trucks is probably more than our houses combined.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I saw a picture online probably 30 years ago of a high up NASCAR team, and a guy was working on a roof or sanding something. He was on 2 buckets with a board across was his stool. Cool. You go to a shop now, they probably have a CNC'd stool stamped with their logo in it,
Yeah.
and they'll sell you one of those stools for like $900. And it's just like, it's kind of gross. Like when you think about it, like it's like, is this really cool anymore? Like,
Well, it's pretty far from its
so
roots.
diluted.
I mean, at least
Like-
if you're talking NASCAR, I mean, I feel like it couldn't be any
Oh,
farther
yeah,
from
no,
its
it's
roots.
far, yeah.
So, yeah,
For sure.
yeah. But I don't know. That's just the way things are going. But you said you run compacts, but I know you've got a beefy race car. I mean,
I'm building
you've
one
got
now. Yeah, I'm working on a 84 Cutlass is what it's tagged as, but I mean just a metric frame car, G body, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so it's close. We'll have it done here soon.
But don't you still have the race car that we drunkenly put a motor in one night?
Oh, the E-Mod.
yeah, I have modified. I have 2 modifieds.
Yeah.
Yeah, those will get worked on next. Those will
So neither of them are running.
no, they're in pieces.
Is that because we put the motor in drunk one
No,
night
no,
eating
no.
pizza?
But just one got raced for a while, and the other one's wrecked. I bought it wrecked, so I'm kind of looking forward to building that because I'm going to learn a lot putting that together, putting a clip on it, as they'd say.
Clip's just the body, though, right? Or are you talking the front clip
No,
of the
front-
suspension?
Front frame
Frame.
horns and
Okay.
stuff. Well, frame rails all the way to the horns, cross member, things like that. So yeah,
Nice.
cool stuff.
I
It'll
like
be
it.
fun. Yeah, you'll come hang out, check it out.
I like it. Yeah, we'll try and put some motors in drunk again, eating pizza.
We'll see.
Yeah, we've had some good times, the 3 of us in shops late at night. Definitely. Race car shops.
And some bad
just hanging
times.
Well, I mean, what do they say? What's that play? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I think that was Anchorman.
No, Anchorman quoted it from the.
Oh,
It was from like an old play or something.
sure. Old
It's the
plays.
Best of times. And
It's my thing.
I don't know. Yeah, I knew. Race cars and theater. You look like a theater guy.
I am a theater guy.
But one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I was kind of excited. I was saving this topic for all these shows because I had somebody write me way back in the first episodes. And Kyle, talk about this because he's got one. So I was waiting. I was saving this for you two guys because you'd have a good opinion. First gen Rams.
First gen
So
Rams.
we're talking, I don't even know the years.
79.
If that. I was thinking 80s
I think it's 79.
to 93.
Yeah.
93 was the last year of the first gen Ram.
I'll look at that real
Um,
quick. The year.
Yeah. Why? So first gen Rams, with everything that's going on in the market now, C10s are crazy. Older F-150s are getting crazy. F-100s are nuts up there with C10s. Why haven't first gen Rams taken off like everything else has?
I don't know.
It's kind of like how all Mopars are, though. And I don't
Yeah.
know why. Is it like the numbers? Do they not build as many?
Well, but see, we could say that. It's not Mopar.
Well, I don't know.
Well, but the Mopars are more expensive. Like to get in a muscle car Mopar, you're going to be spending way more than a Chevy or Ford
Right.
ever would cost.
Parts.
So
Parts
why
availability.
haven't first gen Rams taken off? Is it because the parts are too expensive? Is it because they just don't look as good?
Probably the parts support. Like there's so many part companies out there that build stuff for C10s and F100s and all that stuff where it's a, I would call it plug and play or a bolt on. And maybe there's just not a market there where people have like dove into first gen Rams and saying, oh, okay, well you want to put, a Cummins in this, or you want to do that. We make a bolt-in accessory. We do a wiring, harness for this or that, and make it easy for people to do it. Whereas like you have all these different companies who support the Chevys and the Fords, and there just may not be enough for Mopar. I mean,
and that's a big part of the theory. I also kind of theorize they just don't look as good, the
They
first gen
don't.
Rams. But I mean, even that theory's kind of negated by the fact that people are liking the late 70s, early 80s F-150s.
81 to 90.
It's just 81 to 93
Yeah.
was the first generation Ram. Okay, so it's
I
a
mean-
12-year run. So but that's a big
Yeah.
window, a 12-year run of trucks, and you never see them. I mean, if you see a hot rodded first gen Ram, I mean that's
Also, if you see a first gen Ram, it's usually a hot pile of garbage. Like, I don't know one that I've seen. I saw one at Barrett Jackson that was sweet. Other than that, I've never seen one on the road that was like, didn't make me go, ugh. Like, they're kind of gross. Like, you
Yeah.
just see the same 2-wheel drive long bed. It's got like lawnmowers in the back. Like, they don't look good. Like, you'll have to fully I mean, build it for it to look good. I don't even see them online that look good.
Well, you know where I do see the first gen Rams, and I think you guys will probably attest to this, is the Cummins.
Yeah, those are the
2500s.
only ones that look
Yeah,
good.
you'll see a big single cab, long bed up on
33s or something.
33s, those stretched wheels, that weird thing
Yeah.
that's in now on the big 20s, 22s, whatever they are. You see those. But when was the last time you really just out in the world saw a slammed first gen Ram?
Never.
Or just a stock one, just a stock 2-wheel drive Ram. I mean, sometimes you see them at AutoZone
Well,
and
I
they'll just
mean,
be falling apart. And
I have one.
Yeah, he's got 3.
But
well, yeah.
They don't look good. So I'm sitting here, looking at this thing, like, what can I do? Is it worth it? Like, do I want to tear into this thing, or should I just go buy a C10 for $2,500? Like,
If you can find a C10 for $2,500, you're doing
you
pretty
can
good,
definitely
though.
find one. You have to go get it.
What year are we talking?
Like 80.
But you're talking, okay, so out of state, yeah. Where we're at here in Ohio, for some reason the market's just crazy
I don't
right
think
now.
I'd even want to get one here because they're
Rust.
Yeah, they're going to be rusty. Because
Yeah,
people drove those trucks.
For those of you that don't know, the market in Ohio right now for classic cars, trucks, anything really is just insane right now.
Yeah, if you're
Just
thinking about
everything's
selling
up.
something, sell it now.
If you're thinking about buying something,
Wait.
yeah, be patient. Be
Or,
But,
patient.
or by Southern or East, west.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to go to get a nice car that's not chewed up. If it's a truck that was used as a truck. But the Rams they look
Ugly.
odd.
Yeah.
It's got like too much front fender between the front of the truck and the wheel well. The door to the top of the cab ratio is super weird from the side. It's like the door slants back almost. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not.
Yeah.
The drip rails make it look strange. And it's just a little too weird. Like I think if someone did one right, that it'd look fine. But you never see them done right.
Yeah. I think the front ends are what do it for me. The front end's just, I don't know. I mean, the front end's just not sexy.
And I think I have the best looking front end. Mine's an 84, and it's got the super square grill. It's not all the lines or the big cross. I like the way mine looks, but still, like, it's just, what do you do? I don't know what I should do. Should I sell it?
Well, if you want to put a third-gen Hemi and Trans in it, I know a guy.
I don't think that's going to make it look better.
No, but it'd be fun. It'd be one of those sleepers. You'd end up
Yeah,
on
but
a YouTube
I want it
video.
to. I want it to be the nastiest first gen 2-wheel drive short bed because I think that's very obtainable. I don't think that's far fetched.
No, but you'd have to put a lot of money into it.
Well, you
still.
got to put a lot of money into anything.
True. So
But-
do it into a first gen Dodge. I just had a buddy that I used to roll with it and asked us about that. But he also asked about
Does he have one?
he has it's been a while since he asked this question. I think he has, and what I wanted to lead into, a first gen Dakota. I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about Dakotas because when those came out, those were kind of hot. You know, the S10s were out, the Rangers were out, but then Dodge did it with a Dakota. Well, Dodge had already had it with kind of that D100.
I think the
thing.
Dakotas look better than the Rams. Like if you take one from the same year, 2-wheel drive short bed.
What do you think, Brad?
They look better.
I don't know. I only like the kind of like the 5.9 Magnum era of Dakotas.
Oh,
I
like
had
the-
one of
what are
those.
Oh,
Mine was a 3.
You didn't have an
3.9.
RT though.
No, I had a 3.9.
Those were like what 02, 03s. Growing up, I had a neighbor that had one of those
Yeah.
black extended cab RT.
Yeah, those
It
are
was-
those
it
are
was
the
cool.
body
With the nice
style Dakota
wheels.
I liked.
Yeah.
The
Well, you can only
the
get them
wide
with the nice
wheels.
wheels. Yeah,
Yeah.
with a 360 in it.
Yeah.
It moved. He took me for a ride. I mean, it moved for
Those were
the
sweet.
260 horsepower. I think a 5.9.
Enough to spin the
made
tires.
that
Have
day.
fun with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was sporty for the.
And those
Early
trucks were good to
2000s.
drive.
Mhm.
They were comfortable. They're roomy. I had a 98 Dakota Sport, and it was a fun truck to drive. Like it was a comfortable truck to drive. It was a bag of garbage, but I mean, you remember that truck?
Oh yeah, the black
that black one
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah.
You just show up to school. every day.
Garbage
Yeah.
truck.
They're all black. They're all black or red.
Black. Well, mine had
Yeah.
black with red stripes on it. But
Mix
it
of
was
both.
just, oh my gosh, it was a bad truck.
Yeah.
I probably, I mean, you
Well,
live-
that would have been a
you-
second gen.
you live and
second
you
gen
learn.
Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was a late second gen. It was a
Okay.
98. But, and I think it only had like 106,000 miles on it when I got rid of it.
Really?
Trash.
Yeah,
Straight trash.
I dumped it on a friend.
So much a friend. It
I
wasn't
sold
me.
it. I sold it for like 35 or 3,700 bucks, and I bought the red 84 for like 2,500 bucks. So
In
I
high
made
school.
like a grand and got a 4 times better truck,
Yeah.
and it was way cooler.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was like a good move. That was a good move I made.
Yeah.
So there's
was.
like one good move, and then a whole list of bad ones.
How many cars do you have
How many cars do I have?
currently? Like, I guess you could count race cars.
Probably
too.
have like 12 or 13. Just
You
total.
don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, a
thought
lot
I
of
had
them
a
are
lot
like
of cars.
parts cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
I probably have 4 parts cars and probably, I don't know, maybe 5 race cars, maybe less.
Brad, what about you? How many cars do you have?
Yeah, Brad, how many cars do you have?
I've got 8.
Whoa.
8
What
running.
are you getting mad at me for?
They're all running. They're all driving.
I don't have 8 running cars.
Got the Honda, the Expedition. Got the 14 Silverado 3/4 ton. Got the flatbed 04, 15 Transit, the 79 Camaro, the 97 pickup, and an 04 Matrix.
You might want to throw a disclaimer out again that you
Shoo-wee.
and your wife run a business so
Yes.
people don't think
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
sitting on
No,
money.
I don't hoard cars just because I want to.
I collect them.
We
Go to Transit's pretty sweet.
We do have a business, so we have company cars, which were the Silverado 3/4 ton, the flatbed, and the Transit. Those are all service cars slash the Silverado 3/4 ton's a utility bed, so we use that for service calls and whatnot. But got the 79 Z28. That was a family car. My dad owned it. He bought it in 01 off a car lot, and he'd always wanted one when he was a kid, and grew up, was able to afford it. He bought it. I actually remember the day I saw it. Came back from camp in middle school. He picked me up in school in it, and it was, body was in decent shape. It burned oil. It had, smoke rolling out the back like Joe Dirt. Loved every bit of it. But in 03, we did a full, pretty much restoration on it. We didn't do any body work, but did brand new crate motor from Jegs, 350, TCI 3-speed trans, new rear gears, full exhaust. Kyle was actually pretty into going through different parts and pieces of it at that point in time. We would rattle stuff off at lunch, and he'd sit there with the Jegs catalog spread on the cafeteria tables, and he'd be like, "Oh, this, and this, and you got this," and it was just kind of fun back then in high school to kind of go through the catalog and picking, the parts we would put on the car and whatnot. But yeah, it's a fun
cool.
car. I beat the shit out of it all the time. Kyle still can't believe that it hasn't broke since 03.
Here's what blows me away about that car. So you guys put I think was it a ZZ crate motor or like one of the ones below it? It's like the 330 horse.
330
GM
horse,
crate motor.
380 torque. It's got Vortec heads. It's got a Holley 4-barrel on it.
So just a good crate motor.
Yeah, it's just a good solid
from
350.
GM. So it's
Yep.
built right.
Yep.
Well, you put it in an 03, and I feel like, let's be honest, in the hot rodding world, anything that's supposed to last 10 years, it'll last you 4 or 5 if you're lucky. It's supposed to last 20 years, it'll last even less. I feel like that's the way it works with crate motors. Your car, every time I ride with you, every time you blow by me, because you're always on it, it's either
yeah.
100% or it's turned
zero.
off.
Yep.
Every time you blow by me, thing doesn't smoke, thing has no blow by, and we're now 16 years into this crate motor.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys tuned the carburetor right or that thing was built on a Monday at 9:01 a.m. But I mean,
Guy was feeling good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do one right today.
that car. But that car has also been almost the bane of my existence in the sense that Brad gives me a lot of flack for not beating the shit out of my car because his car, no matter how hard he beats on it, it won't break. The tires are like 47 years old.
No,
I mean,
they're
from
not.
they're from
Dry
like,
rotted.
They're from
You
the
got him out of a
Nixon.
ditch.
his tires
No.
from the Nixon administration.
Found them.
They're 6 years old. They're Mickey Thompson Sport Comps, I think that's what they are. We put them on a number of years ago. They're due for replacement. Yes, I know you're not supposed to have old-ass tires past like 5 years, but the rear tires have like 2, 3 seconds. The fronts have like 10 because, I've only put like 1,000 miles on the front tires, but probably 5,000 on the back. I don't drive it nicely. I beat the living daylights out of it all the time.
I can attest to that. I mean, what I was going to say is Brad's one of the few guys that gives me flack about how, by his terms, how soft I drive my Camaro because of how hard you drive yours. And I always tell you it's because I can't afford to fix it if it breaks. If I blow X, I can't afford to fix it. If I blow that, I can't afford to fix it. And on your car, it just doesn't break. Your car just doesn't break.
Every year at Good Guys, we take it out. We do burnouts, donuts, anything and everything we can do in it. We thrash on it. I drove it in high school, about got the car towed in high school. Took it out to tolls out in Plain City. We were on backcountry roads, and my wife and I were late for school. Thought that I should pass some cars.
Why were you late for school?
Well, I don't know. Probably got it in or something. But
Oh my goodness.
so I was booking to school on backcountry roads, and there was a car ahead of us that were going 45 and a 45. So I backed off a little bit, got to a point where it was passing area, and I hammered on it, and I probably passed them about 100 or so. And we get to school, and I was dropping my wife off at the door, and I went to go park the car. Well, turns out that car was a teacher's car.
Whoops.
And they reported it to
It was tolls, so you use that teacher term lightly.
They were guidance people.
They
I
were
guess.
the older people
Yes.
at the school.
So we Brad and I, we kind of went to school at the same time. We were a little bit of grades apart, but these two guys went to the same technical school.
Yeah.
together,
So Kyle and I went to a school here in Dublin for
One of us listened.
2 years together, and then we transferred out to Tolles, which is a technical school for automotive. Well, there's more programs. We went for automotive. So yeah, we got to school there. Teachers reported us to the sheriff that's always roaming the school. She tracked me down in my class and yanked me out of class and was like, "Did you do this, do this, and do this?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm not gonna lie to you. I passed them at like 100 miles an hour, but hey, I mean, it's off school property. Do you have proof of it? And what are you gonna do? And she's like, "Oh, well, I towed the car." I was like, "Well, good luck with that because you have no proof."
Actually, yeah, if it's off
They
property,
towed the car?
I mean,
They tried to. They were threatening to tow the car, and I was like, "Look, I mean, it happened off school grounds. You don't have video proof. You have all you have is somebody saying, 'Oh yeah, this car passed me at a high rate of speed.' Well, what was that speed? It was on backcountry roads, 5 miles from the school.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So
yeah, and I mean, it's hard to arrest somebody or detain a car or something like that for something that for hearsay.
Yeah, but it's really easy to scare a kid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I was 17, and they're trying to put the scare me into being a good kid.
They
It-
were just trying to instill good values in you,
it
Brad.
didn't change
They wanted you
anything.
to turn out to be a
No.
good boy.
Look at him now.
Yeah, what happened?
He's
No,
a good
no.
boy. He's the goodest of all of us.
The
Probably.
goodest?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the best.
he
Yeah.
probably is. He's probably the better of us all.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And tolls it stuck to Brad.
Yeah, I'm still doing automotive. What is it? I graduated in 08, so 11 years down the road, still doing automotive.
But none of us are in jail, so obviously something
Yeah,
in school is
yeah.
good. So that's,
Yeah.
I
He should be in jail, but
I graduated from college too.
yeah, he went to Uno up in Lima.
Yeah.
High
You
performance.
believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah, University of Northwestern. Wait,
Mhm.
Northwestern Ohio.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay, sounds right. Yeah, what was your focus there in school?
High performance motorsports.
Yep.
So
He went to college with Dan, who
Dan, our
make
friend Dan.
may make an appearance here.
Dan will come talk to you.
Yeah.
Dan.
Dan.
But Dan's a car guy. He's always been into cars.
Dan's car. He just bought a Miata.
Yeah. He also had
I
a
think.
Camry that he just bought for daily. He has a 6.7 Power Stroke.
Well, the audience doesn't know who the hell Dan is. They
Yeah,
don't care what he
we're
drove at
trying, all
17.
right.
Hey, he
Yeah.
might make a guest appearance.
Well,
Who knows?
Dan will
maybe.
make a guest appearance.
Maybe he's got to fly across the country.
What else do you
first.
want to talk about? First gen Rams. We kind of went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we're talking about Dakotas now.
Oh, yeah.
I drove
glad you-
that in high school.
Yeah, you did, and it sounds like it didn't work out too well.
It wasn't a
So
great
that's
truck,
why you-
unfortunately.
It was so bad. What year was it? Your Dakota?
98.
Your 98 was so bad
I went
that you bought
backwards
an
14
84
years.
Chevy.
Yeah.
But hey, Dodge has got good news for you guys. We're gonna bring a third party information source out here. The Dakota's coming back.
All right, I'm okay with
Well,
it.
The
Yeah.
Ranger came back. I would
So-
assume they would come back with.
Well,
But how
the,
big is it going to be?
the funny thing about the Ranger, so it came back to the U.S. market, but it's been in a global market this whole time.
Yeah.
So the Ranger stopped being in sale in the U.S. in 14. Is that
Not
right?
soon enough.
12, 14?
I think it was
Ford Ranger-
earlier than that.
Maybe 11 at the earliest. Wasn't that long? What? Well, the Ford Ranger went out of sale in the U.S. market at one point, and everybody thought the Ranger was dead. Well, it was actually still being sold in domestic markets like, Australia, parts of Europe, things like that. So Ford was still making them.
Renamed.
Yeah, and then they brought them back here. So if anybody sees a new Ranger, because you can go down to your local Ford dealership and look at them, and they look just look a little too.
I don't like it.
They look a little too sleek for being a Ford, and if you wonder why, it's probably because, and I'm guessing here, it's because that's actually the global, F-150, from Ford Europe that designed them and brought them out, and now they're here. But I don't know.
Don't remind me of what they used to be.
No, well,
they were a small, like tinny like truck, like it was made out of like a pop can.
Well, the price doesn't reflect that anymore. I looked at a new Ranger recently, and I think it was a mid-level, and it was in the 40s.
That's
so for
ridiculous.
The compact truck, yeah, it is. It's absurd.
So why wouldn't you buy a Toyota?
Or a 1-ton.
Yeah, or just go get a F-150.
Get a man-sized
or
truck.
Or a 350.
Some folks want
crazy.
Some folks want the cars. I don't know. So we're gonna
let's see this thing.
We'll give them the credit here. It's Car and Driver, the May edition. So,
but is that like a concept, or is that what they're gonna produce? I hate that.
You never know. You never really know. So they're saying in 2021, and I've heard from other sources 2020 that the Dakota's coming back. It's going to be a V6. I think it'll actually share, and this is actually just my personal opinion, but I kind of backed up a little bit if you read between the lines here. I think it's going to be on that Jeep Gladiator chassis.
Yeah.
The Jeep truck, the new Jeep truck coming out. I think it'll be on that chassis and not at all the Ram chassis. I mean, it'll obviously be produced by Fiat Chrysler America, but yeah, the Dakota's coming back for 2021. Some claim 2020. V6, no V8, no RT option because
boring.
Yeah, it seems like trucks have gotten away from those sporty two-wheel drive editions. That's a topic we can touch on here in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. They say late 2020 with prices starting in the mid-20s. So that's bullshit because they're going to start in the 40s. I mean, let's just be honest.
Well,
what do you guys think?
I think it's stupid that they're making these small trucks that aren't small. Like you can't go get a like an $18,000 two-wheel drive pickup
anymore.
Like, I mean, you could probably go get a Tacoma for 24 maybe.
You get the last one on the lot.
Bare bones, 2 years old.
It's disgusting looking. It's hideous.
Stripper model.
You got to get the last one on the lot.
Manual locks, manual windows.
Yeah, white everything, rubber floor, bench seat, no AC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't go get a small truck like you could get an
Demo.
S10.
It was a loaner.
Which it's probably Dodge's fault because when those second-gen Dakotas came out, they're big. It was a bigger truck.
Mm-hmm.
Like the truck I had
was wide.
Was
they
like
were really
a
wide.
puffed up S10. Even the
they were much wider than an S10.
Even the 4-wheel drive S10s were small.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the truck I had was big, and then they just got bigger.
Dakota's had a full-size center console. Yeah. Or bench seat. Was it?
Mine was split.
Okay.
But it had a fold-down console.
But they seemed like a Cadillac in width compared to
they
like
were
an
very
S10 or
wide.
a Ranger.
Yeah. But like you can't go get a small pickup anymore. And even if you did, what's the point? Like what's the price difference between a Ranger and an entry level 150?
Not much.
Yeah, so why would you? It doesn't back in the day it was feasible and now it's not. So it's kind of like I'd love to have a Tacoma to drive around, but
I agree, but
why?
people are buying them. I mean, you guys have heard, I've talked about this on most of the episodes, how manufacturers are starting to stop making their sedans.
Yeah.
They're going all trucks.
Well, I get that.
Or all SUVs.
I mean, cars aren't really. I'd rather have a crossover, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and that's the way they're going.
Than a car. You can put more in it.
But so they're saying, like, why make a sedan anymore? Let's make two versions of our truck. Because our full size, we'll use the F-150 as an example. We're making X dollars profit every year from our F-150s.
Yeah.
Why not make a small version of that and tailor to that market who kind of lives downtown, wants a truck, but doesn't want a full-size
Single
truck
guy.
because they can't park.
Throws golf clubs in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they'll never dirty up the rear
They'll
tires.
never get dirty. So I guess that's where I'm coming from because I have a little bit of a bias. Like, I can't really use this for anything, and I need to use a truck.
Right.
So why would I have a truck that I can't use for that price? And like we talked about, used trucks, even used Tacomas are ridiculous. That's why I bought a brand new one. I tried to buy a used one. They're $20,000 for a 10-year-old truck.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't know what Dan had. I know we don't know Dan, but Dan bought a new Ranger in 07.
Yep.
And it was a
In high
5-speed,
school. Yep.
4-cylinder
Stripper. Rubber floors.
single cab, short bed.
But I want to stop you right there. You just said it. A high schooler was able to buy a brand new vehicle
parents
because they
helped.
were. Oh, okay. Well, but I was going to say they were cheaper.
But it was,
Back then.
yeah, and
It was
it was
an entry level vehicle.
I think it was probably $17,000.
Right.
Okay.
New.
That's fine.
Affordable.
Yeah, that's affordable and it's fine.
brand
Even back then, that's
Yeah.
affordable.
Brand new truck,
By comparison
reliable.
to now.
And 11 years later, 12 years later, there's nothing like that.
Yep.
It's
No.
not even anywhere close.
There's no
And it's-
entry level vehicle. There's no entry level truck. It's
Yeah, that
it's either
bothers me.
it's either you have 40 grand in your pocket or you have no truck.
And
you know.
cars are that way too. I mean, what's the cheapest car you can buy? Probably like a Kia.
Yeah.
You can get fairly cheap with cars. I mean, depending on how cheap you're willing to go. I think there's still some cars in the like mid-teens.
Yeah.
But it's got to really, and it's got to be on the
garbage.
lot for like
it's
6
gonna
months.
be a garbage car. Like
Oh, I agree.
my Focus, when I bought it, 08, brand new, is a coupe, 5-speed, crank windows, manual locks.
You say coupe like it's sporty. I've
Coupe.
never heard anyone.
Coupe.
I've never heard anyone
what do you-
refer to a Focus.
what
as
do you
a-
call it?
Well, it is a coupe, but I've just never
a
put two and
two-door.
two together because coupe is usually associated with like sleek, but it's a coupe.
It was a slick car when I got it.
Focus. No, I'm not shitting on your new purchase when you were, a tweenie, whatever.
But hold on, my point is that was a good car. It's still a pretty good car.
Well, it's still alive.
It's still
200
alive, and
Obviously, it's
200,000 miles.
230,000 miles.
obviously it's an okay car.
And it was 13,000 out the door from Reichert.
Unbeatable.
And you can't, even with inflation, I don't think you can touch that anymore for the quality of car.
No.
I don't think you can get a Focus for under 20. And
Probably not.
I don't see $7,000 increase in 11 years for the same car. That just, I don't get it. Like, are we making that much money now that we,
Well,
I
the
don't
car
know.
manufacturers think we are.
They're making money.
Well, I've said this for a long time. Here's inflation, but here's the car market. Nothing's rising equally
Yeah.
anymore. At least anymore. I mean, maybe it's always been like this. Maybe our parents will be like, "Sit down. It's always been like this." But I wasn't familiar with this. I mean, in high school in 06 when I was working full time at a dealership, I bought it was an 02 Ram, so it was the last year of the first year of the second gen. Wow.
No.
First year of the third gen
gen.
body style. 02, and it was loaded.
We'll get there.
Leather. It was the last
Non-Hemi.
year. Yeah, non-Hemi because it was the last year of the 360. So I got like
Right.
9 miles a gallon. It was awful. But the thing was loaded. It was awesome. It was right before I joined the Army. It was awesome.
Was it white?
Yep.
It was. It was white, tan
Score.
leather, which is kind of interesting. Electronic four-wheel drive on the fly. Which is kind of weird to get used to. But I bought that as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And it was 4 years old.
Right.
Now, as a teenager, no, forget about it. It's not happening.
Right.
It's not possible to buy a 4-year-old Ram as a 19-year-old.
No.
Depending on how hard you want to work. But
You're
I
going
don't
to
know.
work hard.
yeah,
It's just, I don't know, like, it's just, it's strange to me. Like, you can't just go buy a bare bones car that's a quality car. Like, you could go get a Kia, and I think Kia's a pretty decent car.
They actually have turned around since
Yeah.
like the beginning of time when they first started coming to the U.S. Those were garbage. I mean, you might as
Yeah.
well just take your $10,000 you invested in that car and just light it on fire. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's all you're doing.
But you can still get them pretty cheap.
Right.
I think you can get like a entry level Kia or Hyundai for fairly cheap, and that's a decent car. And to me, it's like, well, that makes more sense than buying a Chevy
Right.
or you can't buy a Ford car anymore, but Mazda or something like that. Like I'd probably go get a Hyundai before I spent 150% of that money on something that's just got a better nameplate.
Yep.
And don't they have like incredible warranties?
Yes. 10 years, 100,000 miles
Yeah,
on
that's
Hyundais.
awesome.
I thought they did away with that already.
I honestly, I
remember-
haven't checked into it recently. Don't quote me, but I remember at one point in time it was 10 years, 100,000 miles.
They did for a few years. Kia had
Powertrain
that.
warranty.
Now I think if you guys
It was
know better,
Hyundai.
please comment down below and let us know. But I'm pretty sure that they did away with that. Probably because they were like, oh shit. This is a bad.
or maybe they
business
just don't
strategy.
have to anymore.
It's
I
possible.
know my dad's got a 12 Sonata and he loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a Ford guy for a long time. And he loves that car.
The biggest misconception with people is like maintaining a vehicle. It's
Yeah, that's
it's the if you maintain it, it will last. You do normal maintenance on it. I do automotive service and repair, so I'm always doing maintenance to vehicles. You keep up on, the cars that have timing belts. You do the timing belts. You do the cooling system flushes when they're required.
Get brakes when you need brakes.
You do brakes and they're required. You have a quality shop check your car. But don't go to Fast Lube, because Fast Lube, yes, they roll the car in, they take the filter off, they drain the oil, they put new filter in, they put new oil in it, and that's it. They don't check brakes, tire rod end, suspension, that kind of stuff. Because then you get to the point where it's like, instead of catching one little thing at a time, you catch $5,000 worth of ball joints, tire rod ends, brakes,
as you're on the side of the road,
suspension, all that all at once, because you've been going to a $20 oil change place, and not to mention they use crappy oil filters, and that's a whole nother topic to get into.
Yeah.
But
drive your car like you want it to last a little bit.
Right. You maintain it, you care for it, you wash it, get all the salt off during the winter times. You keep putting money into it, make it safe, make it reliable. Cars will last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you buy a car today.
Right.
It's not 1980 anymore. You're
Right.
not in a K car.
Right. I work for a guy who's been in business for 30 plus years, and he always used to say, cars used to come into the shop, and he goes, 100,000 miles, they were ready for the junkyard.
Last leg.
He goes, now 100,000 miles, he goes, that's like break-in period. He goes, he went to go buy a new Suburban. He couldn't buy a new Suburban because they were like, $70,000, but you can buy them for $30,000 with 100,000 miles on it. And he's like, why would I do that? He went and bought a brand new GMC GMC Sierra 1500 2-wheel drive, loaded, leather, heated and cooled seats, power locks, windows, cruise control, folding mirrors for $31,000. 0 miles in the truck.
Bingo.
And it's just like, you gotta weigh your options, but
Hold on, we got dual spiders on the same. Look at this. You see this?
Yeah.
I know they can't see it on the
I see.
camera. That's crazy. There's
Well,
two
knock 'em down
spiders
there.
right there. Come on, guys. Over here we go.
Oh boy.
well, is there any other topics you wanted to hit?
No, I mean,
Yeah, no, there were. It's just,
I got the
Got
spiders.
distracted.
Yeah, it's crazy.
there was.
It's just the car market's
I'm
wild.
stacking them up over here.
Nah,
This is
you're all
terrible.
right.
God, I hope people are just listening.
You don't have to work tomorrow.
It's Friday. Never works Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, today is Friday. You're right.
No, it's
What are you guys
Thursday.
doing tomorrow, Saturday morning?
Oh, I work.
Saturday morning.
So Saturday
Friday.
morning. Well, he's working.
Depends
So-
on what I get into tonight.
Who you get into?
Hey,
Yeah. So there is one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys
just
about.
one thing. We got time, homie.
So
Let's see a trick.
factory one-offs and collectibles.
Ooh.
The three of us have talked about this a lot, and that's why I kind of wanted to
That's
save this topic kind of the best for last
Pretty
here.
vague.
Factory one-offs, especially recently, these high horsepower limited model run. For example, Ford's got their GT350R.
Yeah.
Camaro had the Z28, which
Yeah.
went away in 2015. The Demons, which are already supposedly gone. Hellcats, depending on how you look at it. I guess I'll lead into this. So I talked to you guys a lot about this and a lot of folks. When these special edition cars come out, you never know if they're going to make 1,000 units or 100 units. So you kind of have to read between the lines, see what actually comes out. But I'll just throw it out there. Like with the Dodge Demon, it came out, 2 years ago now. It's been a little while. It came out. They didn't make very many units. And people, what they were doing was they'd buy them up from the dealerships for like 85 or 90, whatever the MSRP was. Buy them up. And since they were limited run, they'd put them back on eBay or Auto Trader the next day, and they'd make like $30,000 profit. And people were buying them because people were buying them faster from the dealership than the people who wanted them could actually get them.
Right.
What do you guys think about this trend? Because I'm going to say it is a trend. It is a trend in people going out and buying these cars and mothballing them, putting them in a storage unit in an HVAC-controlled area, sealing them up in plastic. What do you guys think about this?
Hate it.
I mean, from a car enthusiast standpoint, It is kind of shitty.
Cars are meant to be driven. That's what they're built for. That's why you have 700 horsepower out of the box, so you can enjoy the 700 horsepower, not let it sit in a garage for 30 years and go, oh, it's a barn find. Let's sell it for $1.5 million now. Somebody's not going to drive the car. Continue. It's just one of those things. That's like I feel bad for the car because it was built for one reason only, to have fun with, to drive, to enjoy, and it just sits and sits and sits and sits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least Dodge will sell them. I mean,
Right.
you absolutely cannot get a 350 from Ford.
Right. Without a binding contract
you-
that you won't.
Cannot do it. They'll probably send one to each big dealership.
Yep.
I mean,
350?
yeah.
I know a guy at Ford. If you want a GT350, we'll get you one.
Well, the sticker is probably what, 80?
Oh, there's going to be
And
a dealer markup.
they'll sell it for 140.
Because
Not
they
that
can,
high, but
because
they'll
they
throw
can.
10 grand on the dealer markup.
Yeah, they'd mark it up.
They'll throw the dealer
bad.
markup up.
Ford's
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, real bad.
I just mean like comparison to the Demon, which was the Demon was a arguably factory drag race car. That's what it was meant to be. It ran nines, which is funny because almost nobody can get theirs to run nines. That's another topic. But you can get a 350 more easily than you can get a Demon, though. Because the Demons, they've already stopped making them.
Like the Copo cars and stuff.
Yeah, well, luckily the Copos, they still make it. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't even think about that.
Well,
the
you
Copo
can't get a
Camaros.
Copo.
You can.
You have to.
They make X amount per year.
You have to win like a lottery.
So Copo Camaros, folks, are central office production order Camaros. You guys have probably seen them. They're usually like the body and white cars. They're drag cars straight from GM with they're all LSs. There's a big rowdy, naturally aspirated LS option. There's an LS option with a Whipple that's like 3 liter, and then I think you can get a 4 liter Whipple option. But they're drag cars, and they're all over 100 grand.
Non-street legal.
Yeah, non-street legal. The when you buy them from GM, they don't even give you a title. There's just a bill of sale.
Yeah.
Because it's a race car. But those, at least GM's still making those every year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think it's shitty that people are buying these cars and mothballing them. But from a business standpoint, because this is kind of why I wanted to bring this up with you guys and discuss it. I've thought about this. Like, when the Demon came out, I saw it and I was like, this might be a moment in time. And I know everyone says that, and usually it's not. Usually it's just, it blows over and they make 10,000 units of them. But the Demon was kind of a moment in time where I thought, like, should I get one of these? Like, should I talk to the right people, try and get like 90 grand in cash and then flip it? Obviously, I didn't do it because that's too much money. That makes me nervous. But
I don't think they're done. I don't think Dodge is done. I think Dodge is having a lot of fun right now. Just
Yanking people's chain.
constantly putting out awesome cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that they're willing to sell at dealerships. I mean, you could easily go get a Hellcat a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and you still can.
Okay, yeah, right. I know what you mean. It's just as far as like in the last couple years.
Because the first year of the Hellcat was 2015, and when those came out, I actually thought that was a moment in time, and I'm glad I didn't go buy one because the Hellcats are not a dime a dozen, but they're out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of units.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I mean, like, I thought about buying a
You're not going to make any money on it.
Exactly, because they made too many of them.
But if you want like an awesome production car for, I don't know what you get a Hellcat for, maybe 70, give or take.
Up there.
Probably, yeah, we'll say around there.
I think that's reasonable. Without
What
having
it
to
is.
jump through hoops and sign up and write a letter to
Play the
the
game.
manufacturer why you should have one. That's just annoying. Like, put out, awesome production cars, whatever you want to call them, muscle cars. I wouldn't really consider them like
I wouldn't call them supercars either.
yeah, I don't know what you'd call them right now.
High performance.
High
vehicles.
performance street cars. But make them so people can go get them. I mean, don't make them to where there's one. How many Z28s have you seen for sale on the lot?
Not
New
many.
ones?
New ones.
No.
Well, they don't make the Z28 Camaro anymore.
Well, how many did you see on the lot?
I remember a brand new one that I
The
texted
white
you
one
in like 2016.
That I wanted to buy,
Yeah.
and that
You
was the
should've.
only one I ever saw. Well, everybody had the same plan I did.
Yeah.
So,
And then think about back in the day how many Z28s there were produced.
lots.
I mean, your donor car.
Yeah. Well, if you want to talk first gen, like the real Z28s.
No, I'm
so we're talking about new Z28s was 20. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just 2014 and 2015 2-year run. It was a 5th gen Camaro with an LS7 V8 out of the Z06 C6 Corvette. I think you could only get it in a 6-speed.
6-speed.
And I remember reading an article, and I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if you know, but there were 2 options. Do you want a radio? Do you want air conditioning?
Yeah.
From what I understood, other than like, changing wheels and colors and all that bullshit, there were only 2 options, AC and a radio. And that car was a moment in time because naturally aspirated, 505 horse, push rod, overhead valve V8, no turbos, no blowers, 6-speed manual, wide tires. I remember when they started selling those, they wouldn't sell them in the winter. the first year because they came with
People
like the
put
Michelin.
them in the ditch.
Well, yeah, they
on the
came
other
with
side of the
Transport,
dealership.
I'll never forget that. So it would have been, when would I have read that? 2013, the article probably would have come out then for the 2014 model year. They wouldn't sell it in the wintertime, and people were like, what the hell? And GM was like, no, you will kill yourself
Yeah.
because the tires were
Which,
so,
oddly enough, that one finally got sold in like December or
Yeah,
January.
they had that one for a while. That was weird.
I loved that car.
But I mean, let's be honest. From like an adult business standpoint, car enthusiast aside, from a business standpoint, what do you think about this whole buying one that you think, and it's a gamble, it's like stocks, you don't know, but you think it might go up in value because they're saying it's going to be rare. What do you think about this whole mothballing thing? You think it's bullshit?
I mean, I
stay
think
away?
there's better ways to make $20,000 or $30,000 over 5 years. That doesn't really.
Well, in 5 years would be if it happens fast.
Uh,
A lot of these guys
right,
are banking
right.
that in 30 years.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
But what I'm looking at is like, you do this, hiding the cars away. What are you losing? I mean, are you paying storage fees? Are you paying rental fees?
Yeah.
Are you paying HVAC stuff? Are you heating and cooling this thing?
You're gonna have to.
Because if you do, in the long run, is it worth a
No.
30 grand invest? To make 30 grand, are you spending $1,000 a year in heating and cooling costs, which is probably really, really low considering how much you charge. You pay for your house heating and cooling per month.
Yeah.
But are you paying $1,000, $2,000 a year to heat and cool a building so this thing can sit in there? And not to mention, are you storing this thing away on your own property? Are you storing it in a storage unit? Or where is this at? Are you
Yeah,
paying insurance on this thing the whole time? Are you?
There's no way it's worth it.
Yeah.
Unless it's just what you like to do.
It's hard to
You're
keep that bottom,
guy.
yeah, that bottom line is going to be cut down just by storing the damn thing.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, it's not a $6,000 car, from 1966.
And my thing from like a car enthusiast standpoint too is when you let a car sit for 10, 15, 20 years, it's one of the hardest things on a car.
Everything's gonna go bad.
Especially with how new cars are with electronics. Electronics, all the modules in the cars have to always have battery voltage. They're always talking to each other by CAN bus and all this other new technology. You're going to have to either have a battery tender on it all the time. You're going to have to change batteries out every so many years, because you're going to get to the point where, if you let this car literally just sit in a barn or garage or whatever for 15 years so you make your 30 grand, you go to fire this thing up and it's all types of like computer communication errors, all types
Next
of...
thing you know, half
Yeah.
the car has to come apart.
Yeah, then you have to go to the dealer, and the dealer's going, oh, well, we got 15-year-old scan tools. They don't communicate to that shit,
Yeah.
and then you're up shit creek. And you have a car that, should be working because it's got a mile on it, but you have all these communication errors because of all the new, technology and whatever else.
Yeah, I just don't think that's part of the
It's
game
not worth
anymore.
it. Back in the day, you got the old Mustangs and, the Road Runners and all that stuff. Yeah, it's all nuts and bolts. There's really hardly any electronics, per se, no computers and whatnot. Those you could kind of bring back to life pretty easy. Change fluids on it, you go through it, make sure everything's winterized and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, if you do the comparison on, what could you buy a Z28 for in, what was the first year Z28?
Ooh, I think it was either 68 or 69.
So call it 69. What could you buy a Z28 for in 69? Probably
3,500.
Okay.
Stupid cheap.
And say it's perfect with 80 miles on it. What could you sell it for today? If it was, in
Numbers matching.
beautiful condition, perfect, everything's perfect, it'd be six figures.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
easily.
Okay.
But how much did you spend to keep
store
it that
it,
way?
yeah.
Okay.
For 34
I
years.
understand. But if you buy there's no Z28s now, but say you
15.
bought a Z28 for what they wanted for it, which was like 80 in 14, you're not going to get like 8 million for that
No.
car. I mean, the margin is not the same.
Yeah.
So, no, there's no point to do that. I mean, I could see holding on to a car for 35 years if you're going to make $120,000 on it, but not if you're going to make $30,000 on it. That's
Well,
silly
And it's possible. You just don't know. And the likelihood is lower than it was back in the day.
because
but
it costs so much to buy it now.
Yeah.
But-
I don't think people are going to buy cars for millions of dollars in the
Right.
future like they buy cars for hundreds of thousands of dollars today.
I doubt it. I don't think they will, but who knows? You
It's
never
just
know. But to parallel your
But that's
whole,
just me.
like, the electronic system going bad, I was thinking seals. Because back in the day, seals, I mean, tolerances were as wide as the Grand Canyon in
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s and 50s. Nowadays, I mean,
they had
seals
4
are
or 5
so
seals
tight.
down at Napa. It fit everything.
nowadays, I mean, tolerances are so tight in
Yep.
modern motors. You let that thing sit dry for, I'm just going to say, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it'll ever run right again
Probably not.
because everything is so tight. So if
Yep.
you're trying to make this thing make money in 30 years, let's say you mothball it, even if you start it every year, which that might just be detrimental, starting at that infrequently.
You should do like once a week.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I really thought about it with that Demon. Like I said, I mean, thoughts went through my head. I was like, can I borrow 90 grand and then flip this thing in a week? Because we can't. So these guys are buying them, 90 grand from the dealership.
Yeah,
flipping
but
them
I'm
next
sure
week.
that those guys aren't going to let somebody else pass up an option. They probably have it figured out.
Oh, I know.
How many can I get?
That was the thing. As soon as the dealer would have them, they were already pre-sold by
Right.
collectors. Guys wealthier than I, assholes.
Yeah. I mean,
Douchebags.
guys are going to buy 10 of them.
Car people, but really just business guys.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think you missed the boat. I think it's only going to get better until someone cracks down and is like, hey, we can't let common folks drive race cars on the road. Like, I don't think it's a problem yet, but
I see in the future.
stuff's getting wild. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
7, 8, 900 horsepower to like my mother. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
The new GT500 is supposed to have 760, something like that.
I think it's, I don't think it's,
but it's more than the ZR1.
But you look back in the day, and these guys back in the 60s, 70s, turn out 300, 400 horsepower. Like, oh, this is the shit.
Yep.
And
yeah.
nowadays, with
You get laughed at.
with a turbo and running E85 and a tune, you're putting out over 1,000 horsepower out of
Yeah.
a factory car, and these cars are doing 200 miles an hour easily on the freeway.
Well, and it's definitely not the same thing, but electric cars.
Oh yeah,
I mean, these electric cars are
Tesla.
fast.
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you put somebody that can't drive a car in one of these bad, fast electric cars. You're still going just
Yep.
as fast. It's just not, it doesn't have fumes coming out the back of it. I think it's going to get dialed back in the future because I think people are going to start getting hurt.
Yep. Especially the
And,
self-driving cars.
I mean, some of these cars are wild.
Well, I just hope this hot rodding era that we've been in it for a few years now. I just hope it doesn't get cut back because
Stupid people.
yeah. I mean, I think the highest horsepower car you can buy right now is talking domestic was the Demon at 840 and the Hellcat Red Eye at 797. And where do they go from there? So, like you said, maybe that'll
They
be
got to reconfigure, but I don't think they're going to drop the ball. Nobody was talking about Dodge 10 years ago.
no.
No.
Dodge does really. I want to sell. Dodge does really good with their marketing. Dodge
Oh,
is kind of like their
100%.
marketing with the Dennis Leary.
They've turned it around.
All their ads are them beating up a Hellcat or a Charger, burnouts, saying, "What is it? What's their slogan?" Shit, I don't
Dodge,
remember.
I don't know.
It's like Dodge with the
What
brothers.
is their slogan?
the
Dodge.
brothers and they're burning outs. And they're burning outs.
Dodge.
They're burnouts.
Dodge.
No, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
good. Dodge has very, very good marketing these
Yeah, it
days.
almost makes you forget about some of the garbage that they put out.
Yeah.
You're like, I think I'm going to go get a Durango.
Dodge Avengers. What?
Do they
Yeah.
make Dodge Avengers
no,
anymore?
they quit making those.
Because they're garbage.
they're too shitty
Man,
for
that's
you.
a
Dodge.
tax return time car if
Yeah.
I've ever seen one.
Ooh, we got money back. Let's go buy a car.
30-day tags.
But hey, I tell you, so it's time for a little change up.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Jags' weirdest part of the week. You guys ready for this?
Jegs' weirdest part of the week.
It's a
All right.
recurring segment in case you don't listen to this fucking show.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. What's this show even
So,
called?
Do you guys know about this? Jags, and it's not just Jags, it's everybody. You guys ever heard of intake turtles?
Nope.
Really?
Turtle.
No, intake turtles. You guys haven't heard of this?
I've never heard of this.
So, if any of you folks out there have heard of this, please comment below because I'm actually excited to hear if somebody has used one of these damn things. So,
Got a
An
rotary
intake
phone.
turtle.
Yeah, got
is-
Nokia.
an intake turtle is a piece of metal that's supposed to smooth out the airflow at the bottom of the carburetor inside the intake manifold. It's supposed to be a smoother transition.
Why would they make an intake
Sounds like a
manifold
waste
that
of
was
$80.
inefficient? Why would they make one that already doesn't flow as good as possible?
Technically, everything's got a certain scale of inefficiency to it.
Yeah,
These
but
things
I'm
are
pretty
supposed
sure
to-
putting a little ceramic turtle in there is not going to help.
I don't know. I don't know.
Which way do you
point?
point the head?
Well, up. I think it. Well, they're meant for each. They're
On
meant
his
for
back
Elbrock, they're
legs?
meant for Holly. I don't know.
Garbage.
I never used one.
That looks silly.
I
It's
I
like
learned
something you bought in an arts and crafts
Yeah, it looks
store.
like something you put in a garden.
that's what I said. So here's the funny thing. I learned about them about a year ago, and I had to Google them.
How
I was
many
like,
do you
"Is this
have?
real?"
Be honest.
Yeah, I got a
You've
whole
got a
collection.
couple.
Threw half
Yeah.
a dozen in the LS before we
Oh
put it
my
back
goodness!
together.
Everywhere.
I got the African to the South American intake turtles. Which one do you want? So
Galapagos.
I had to Google. I had to Google them to see if this is legit. And yeah, some drag racers swear by them. Some people say they'll get 2 or 3 horsepower up at high RPMs because they're smoothing out the airflow. But I had never seen that before. I mean, I laughed my ass off, obviously, because it looks like a bullet upon impact.
No
I
shit.
mean, you're like, is this a joke? Is this like one of those things where they sell like,
How do you put it in there? Glue?
I don't know. I don't know what keeps it.
Just chuck it in there.
Well,
It's
obviously,
gonna get hot.
obviously with the carburetor off, you drop it in there. But I don't know what keeps it in there. What if you hit a bump? Does it just?
Yeah, what if it scoots over to
Just rides in
one
the
tube?
I don't know why my motor seized up. They said the turtle would stay.
That's the
I don't
turtle
know.
acting up.
I don't know, but that's Jake's
Take the
weirdest part of the
carb
week.
off.
Intake turtles. And
I want to
I'm
know how
actually-
it goes in there.
Well-
Velcro?
There you go.
I don't know.
That's your job. Send us some links of how this
Yeah, how's
works.
this turtle
Let us
stay
know.
in there?
Let us know. I've got a couple.
Pop rivet.
I got a couple hardcore drag racing buddies, but even them, I don't think they've used
JB
it.
Weldon duct
And if you
tape.
have, please let us know, please.
Yeah.
I want to know how a damn intake turtle works. And how much was it? $80?
80
80
bucks.
And
bucks.
for 30, I'll buy one and put it on a shelf. Maybe not for 80, but yeah.
If you pay for it and send it to us, Kyle will put it in the LS.
Yeah.
Go
well, we'll
fund
look for
Kyle's
use the good
turtle.
guys.
Would you put it on a shelf or would you put it in a tank? I'd have to put it in a tank.
I
Want
might
to see
put it
my
in a
turtle
tank.
when your friends come over?
Yeah.
It's just down in there. Like,
That's
what's that?
that's
Like,
my
it's my
intake
intake
turtle.
turtle.
Call it
That's what I would
George.
do. And then that's why I don't have friends though. So like, okay, we're gonna go home.
Jesus.
Cool.
Yep, but that's Jags' weirdest part of the week.
Well, now how are you gonna top that next week?
Oh, believe me, I got it.
All right.
I got it. So, one thing I like to do with everybody, but we actually already talked on was what you're working on right now. You're working on 37 race cars.
Yep.
You're working on a Camaro that doesn't seem to blow up no matter what you do.
Doesn't
I
he need
don't,
to
I'm not
work
working on it.
I'd love. Well, what are you working on then, Brad? Car wise, what are you working on right now?
Well, you talking about at work or you talking about at home?
No, home. Your
Something like
personal
Santa
home.
Fe.
Home, I don't have time. I got 2 full-time jobs. At work, I get to work on a
Man.
12-cylinder Bentley yesterday. That was interesting. A $1,400 tune-up job. So spark plugs. There's
Forget
12,
that.
12 of them, an ignition coil. That was
What year are we talking?
An 08, I believe.
So not old, not
No.
cool Bentley.
Nope, not stupid cool, but hey, that's still a Bentley. It's 12-cylinder,
it's
twin
good.
turbo.
$1,400.
$1,400.
Job.
Yep.
That's
Yikes.
terrible.
For 12 spark plugs and ignition coil, and I think it was like 6 or 7 hours of labor. Stupid.
7
You gotta pull the intake off. Got to pull the intake tubes.
I think I would have sold the car.
Yeah.
Time for a new car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a realtor. He likes his car. Oh well.
Good for him.
I like working on it.
And hey,
It's a
if you like
challenge.
your car, you like your car.
It's just a big Volkswagen. That's all it is. It's like 2 VR6 motors stuffed together.
Does Volkswagen own Bentley?
I don't know. When the ignition coil showed up as in a Volkswagen box, so it's all the same shit.
Works for me. What are you working on?
Race cars.
A race
Just
car. All right.
84 Cutlass. That's about it. Maybe
All
I'll
right.
start working on a first gen Ram. Probably
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
I'll probably sell it.
All right. Well, I'll probably buy it for some fucking reason.
He'll buy some
You
$5,000
can buy
piece
it
of
if
shit
you
off
want.
Craigslist.
You already have the motor and transmission for it.
Yeah, but it's blown up.
Well, it's,
I'm just gonna put it and drive it. Spun bearing and all, noise and all.
That's-
No oil pressure.
that's not a big deal.
It's a
I'm just
diesel.
gonna put
It's a
it in.
diesel.
What are
Don't
you
worry about
working
it.
on right now?
Just the Camaro. Just the
Okay.
Camaro as usual. The
Still?
front suspension's about to get an overhaul.
It's like
Uh,
the 15-year project.
Well, it never ends.
Well, it never stops.
Well, and here's the thing. I did an LS swap finally in 2018 when they're old news when people are doing LT1 swaps. I mean,
Great.
know,
Back out.
if you're on a middle class budget, let's be honest, you're always behind the curve.
Oh, yeah.
And that's always going to be the case. You know,
I'm just waiting for my 350 to blow up so I can do something with it.
I'm waiting on it too, but I think that thing. I'm about to buy your engine just so I can have that like
Bulletproof.
engine. Yeah,
He
that-
put it in 5 days down the road. Why, bam!
Through the hood it comes.
Yep.
probably that'd be my luck. But okay, so yeah, that's
Cool.
what we're working on, I guess.
Yeah.
The normal dream cars, dream car reality,
Oh,
something
man.
you can buy. Brad, what do you got?
Personally, I think I got like $6 in my wallet, so buying nothing right now. But
No Bentley.
if I could, no Bentley, maybe one of the Matchbox cars. Dream car. That's
reality.
It's
Something
kind of tough.
Something you could buy in the next couple of years.
See, it's kind of tough. It's between cars and trucks. If you're talking,
That's fine.
If you're talking
It
cars,
can be truck.
talking cars,
So
honestly,
it's got to be a car
I'm
or truck.
gonna pick a car and a truck. If I could pick a truck,
No, it has to be one.
no, it's
Nah.
gonna be one of each because they're two different uses.
I
In my
believe it. I'm
area.
okay.
If I were to pick, it'd be an early 2000s 7.3 Power Stroke, quad cab.
Boy, I know a guy with
I
one.
know.
Hey,
Quad cab,
We
8 foot
need to
bed
talk.
because it was pre-urea injection. It's not the whole no new bullshit. It's still a fantastic motor.
true.
I love the
Boy,
body
Ryan,
stuff.
who's selling one of those? Do you
Yeah,
know?
but his is all rusty.
Hey,
it's got
I've
like
got- it's not
400
that
It's
bad.
got like 300,000 miles on it.
And it's 10 grand less than the next one.
True.
I'm just saying.
Ryan has a 7.3 Power Stroke
Yes,
for
if anybody's
sale right
interested
now.
on it,
It's a sweet truck.
yeah, he's willing to sell. He's willing to part ways.
It's a good truck.
Yeah.
You drive to Florida.
I mean, I would like to buy it, but I want like a zero rust Texas truck. You know, I want one of those.
I get
like,
what you're saying.
I want like I don't care. If
You're
it
not
has,
You
gonna
better
use
be
it for
flying to
work.
Houston for
yeah,
it then.
I don't care if it has 100,000 miles on it, 200,000 miles on it. They're bulletproof. You
Yeah.
know, I would want that generation 7.3 quad cab. You know,
Long bed?
8 foot bed.
Ooh.
So I can haul a camper with it. You know, put on some decent tires, wheels. You know, I always liked that body style, the chrome wheels that came with those from factory. Car, completely different story. I don't like new generation cars. I like old school muscle. Probably like a second gen Camaro or Trans Am, some sort. Can't nail it down. It's one of those like, you know, second gen Camaro GTO.
You
body
own a
style.
second gen Camaro.
I
though.
do own a second gen Camaro. I probably own a split bumper though.
Maybe
if I could
wants
change it,
a
it'd be like a split bumper, like a 73 split bumper. But
That's
those
cool.
those are going for stupid money now too.
They are.
And
you just never see them. You never see a 70 to 73 Trans Am
we had a
anymore.
customer come in the shop, younger guy, used to own MR2s. He wanted to build, you know, this 73 Camaro. Showed up, car was blue, shitty ass paint job. Car was solid, paid $15K for it. It was a 454 big block, 4-speed Muncie. He wanted to yank all that out because it was all old and tired. You know, shifter wasn't shifting to second gear, grinding, whatever else. So we put a 383 small block in it, you know, Chevy Performance. Put a 5-speed manual trans in it. Put Hotchkiss tubular control arms, QA1 coilover suspension, new exhaust. I mean, pretty much redid the car. He had the car painted, glass out paint job. Really, really liked the car. Would have picked a different color. But really liked the car. Good power. You know, just something like that. You know,
It struck a nerve
yeah,
with you.
struck a
You're
nerve.
like,
It's like,
oh
you know,
man,
you know, he brought it to
might
us
have to get me one of these.
in different stages, and basically I built the car. You know, I mean, he had the car come in on factory suspension, and you know, I did all the tubular control arms, coilover suspension,
Do you still have all that
disc
stuff?
conversion brakes, the back.
No, it's in the car.
Yeah. And
The
you know,
old stuff.
you know, redid everything. Pulled the old motor out, put a new motor in, wired the damn thing with painless wiring kit. You know, all new brakes. It's just, you know, one of those things like I got to kind of build it, but it wasn't mine. So it was like, yeah, this is awesome. I can throw all the nice fun parts at it, but I don't have to pay for it at the end of the day.
True story.
But, you know, when I finally got to do, you know, that last test drive before he picked it up, it was like, all right, you know, this is really cool. I kind of sorted the car out, you know, got rid of all the cricks and noises and everything else, you know, got the car comfortable, nice, you know, it makes good power. And it's just one of the things like, you know, if I could do this for myself, I'd really love to do it. The 79 I have, I would never change. I don't really want to put an LS in it. I don't want to, you know, I want to keep it like a simple 3-speed automatic.
driver.
3-speed automatic, 350, reliable, you know, just a complete car that's not overdone, you know, no tubular suspension, no big wheels, no fender flares, all that bullshit. Just a nice driver that I can enjoy.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's mine.
But what about
I did truck
out of reach?
Well, I was gonna. What's your
Oh,
dream
my
car
in
reality?
reach car?
Your reality.
Man, forever. I just want like a driver, first gen Bronco, like 66 to 77 Ford Bronco.
like an OJ.
No,
that's
pre-
second, that's
OJ.
second gen.
yeah, no. That was like a
OJ was like 92.
92,
Yeah.
93.
Yeah.
Something that could get rained on, could get snowed on,
Don't care.
that you could drive, but I want it to look nice. You're showing us your turtle.
Oh yeah.
But they're so expensive that it's
Mhm.
like it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably pay 10 to 15 for a solid Bronco. And you cannot get a solid Bronco for
Yeah.
10 to 15. It's not possible. But where everything was slightly updated, just modernized. Doesn't have to be anything wild, no wild transmission, motor combination, anything like that. Just a nice driver that's comfortable, like your Camaro,
hmm
and you can't find them.
So it's funny you mentioned that. I didn't even remember this till just now. I was reading an article here in like one of those like Columbus magazines recently. Did you guys know there's a company up here in Powell
Yeah,
that does just first gen Broncos?
yeah,
Like a restoration company?
they do.
I didn't know about
They do
that.
some good pieces.
That's what I read. Like all, $200,000+ builds.
Mhm.
I didn't know about that till just the other day.
I think it's called like Classic Ford Broncos or something.
Something. I don't want to give them too much credit unless they want to sponsor us. But yeah, I didn't know they existed.
Yeah,
And they're like somewhere right down the road.
yeah.
Yeah.
They put out some nice trucks.
Like high end only do first gen Broncos.
There's a bunch of companies like that will build you.
Yeah, but like right down the road. I didn't know.
Well,
that
no,
was,
not right down the
I'm
road.
usually aware of my surroundings, and I didn't know that was there.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, they're all over 2, and that's crazy.
But it's cool that it's here. It's cool that it's local.
Yeah, that's cool.
And hey, if you just ever want to say forget buying a house and get your first,
I could
gen.
live in the Bronco.
Yeah. Well, so we'll flip it back. What dream car? Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Probably just some outrageous like race hauler, like something that I could use to race around in. Some big
You say haul. So you mean
hauler,
actual like a hauler?
yeah, like a
So you'd want a semi.
like a toter home with like a stacker trailer, basically.
Okay.
with
So it's
the-
not even a car. It's your dream is
Yeah.
the ability to haul those
Yeah,
cars.
yeah, yeah.
in.
I don't really have like a. I think all my dream cars are pretty practical.
It's
Just
good.
I don't want anything that I gotta wipe off all the time.
hmm
I just, I mean, I have cars like that now that never get driven, so forget it. I don't need anything like that.
I like it. Dream car's a trailer. Truck
Yeah,
and trailer. I
big
like that.
big tractor trailer.
I like it.
I'm gonna put my face on the side or something.
You should.
Yeah.
Brad, dream car, sky is the limit.
I don't know. Some pro touring something or another. Maybe like a pickup truck C10, something like that. That's pro toured out. Big LS, twin turbos.
Couple $100,000 into it.
Yeah, a couple $100,000.
That's cool.
Kind of
I
like
like
kind of
that.
like the guy. What's his name out of Roadkill? Not is it Finnegan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finnegan, his
Yeah, he's
C10.
got a C10 in there.
I don't think he's quite got 100
he's
in
not.
it,
Yeah,
but
he's,
almost.
he's not twin turbo, but he went from a bagged chassis to like this whole whoop-de-doo clip that he welded on, and
Yeah.
all this other bullshit that
He might be at 100.
You get the hot rod discount, for being an employee for Hot Rod and whatnot, and doing all these different shows and stuff. You get free parts for advertisement for them. He's throwing all this money at it, so yeah, one of those like fun C10s that are all pro toured and twin turbo, make 1,000 horsepower, stupid stuff. That'd probably be mine.
I like it.
That's cool.
That'd be fun. I like it. So one more question that I actually haven't gotten to ask anybody in a while, or I've forgotten to. What's the favorite car you guys have owned? I mean, your favorite car, doesn't matter what it is, your absolute favorite car that you have owned.
We do least favorite too.
If you want to throw it in
Yeah.
there, sure.
Least favorite 95 Saturn SL1. Horrible.
It was green.
No, it was white. It was the one I had in high school.
Oh, the one after
Yeah.
the green one.
Yeah,
No, you had a green
I
Honda.
had a green
Okay.
Honda that I totaled.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I had a 95 Saturn SL1 that
It was white.
when we bought it didn't go in reverse.
Oh, sweet. To make
So-
your old lady push.
Yeah, get out, bitch. Push the car. That was probably my least favorite was the Saturn. Favorite car probably owned other than the Camaro would probably be my 01 Chevy Tahoe. It was my father-in-law's.
It was like a burnt orange.
It was a red.
That was good. looking.
It was the 01, so it had like the 5.3 loaded leather, rear heat and AC, heated seats, just a good solid truck. You tromp on it, it's got the power.
You pulled up in that as I had just gotten out of the Army and I hadn't seen you in years.
Yep.
You were like, "Hey, Kyle," and I was like,
Yep.
"The fuck is this guy?"
Yep. Well, mind you, I also I was pretty heavy when Kyle went into the Army, and he was also a shrimp. So I was passing by his parents' house one day, and he was out there in the driveway working on the Cummins, I believe, and he bulked up quite a bit in the Army. And I walk up, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And I'm like, "Brad. Like, haven't seen you in 2 years." He's like, "Holy shit, you've lost like 100 pounds." It's like, yeah, well, no, I've gained it back, but
It's all right.
Yeah.
We all get old.
But that was a good looking SUV.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
it was.
good
It was. It was red. It had when I got it, it had like 80,000 miles on it.
I was upset when you sold it.
4-wheel drive, 5.3. Yeah, AC front and rear, leather. It was a beautiful car. It's kind of like a red exterior, gray interior. Loved that thing. Take it anywhere. Ended up getting rid of it because right at the time it was right in 2008. Fuel prices were like $5 a gallon. I couldn't afford to feed it.
Yeah.
You know, driving to work was $10 in fuel every day, and it was like, you know, by the end of the week I spent, you know, $50 in fuel, $60 in fuel. It's like, you know, with the paycheck that I was making at that time, yeah, that was a lot of money. And so I ended up getting rid of it for an 04 Mazda 6, believe it or not. And Gunner, our you know, electronics guy over here.
The man behind the
Director?
screen.
Yeah,
the
man behind the camera and
camera.
the microphones over. He now owns it now. So, but yeah,
That was a good
Heck
car.
yeah.
yeah, it's still right.
Everybody's trading cars.
Yeah. Ryan?
My favorite car I've ever owned,
Truck.
probably that 84.
Yeah.
I just really liked it.
Well, don't make me feel bad about selling it to the guy that
It was just getting
gave it away.
problematic. It needed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Driving.
didn't have time to mess with it at the time, so it had to go before it set because I didn't want it to sit.
Mhm.
But I liked that truck. It was a pretty solid truck. It didn't have goofy things wrong with it and this and that. It was just a nice. It turned heads.
It had a motor you didn't know it had in it.
It had a motor that I didn't think was in there.
Yeah, it had a
But,
350 crate, but when he sold it to
I
me, he was
thought
like,
it
"This is
was
just an old
a-
305."
Yeah, I thought it was a 305. So yeah, I like the truck I have now too. But it's, you know, it's a new truck, so it's obviously super comfortable. But that truck was, I liked that truck. That was a cool car.
Nice. I like it.
Yep.
Well, I tell you guys, we're pretty deep into this thing.
Okay.
I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything you wanted to say? Close up notes here.
No, not really. I'll have to save that for next time,
All right. Yeah.
if there is a next time.
Yeah.
If you'll have us back.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they don't shut us down here after this.
Well,
Cool.
shake and bake.
Yeah. Shake and bake. That's
All right.
that's a classic.
Yeah. As always, guys, be sure to check us out on Instagram at Much As Wrench Set there, and check us out. Keep up with everything, and give us a like if you feel like it. And yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah,
Cool.
anytime.
Thanks.
All right.
It was fun.
Don't cause too much trouble out there.
Try not to.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
See
Take
ya.
her easy.